Mic check, mic check. You're in the chat and you can hear me talking over the
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right, mic check, 1, 2, mic check, 1, 2. Y'all should be able to hear me. I had some mic issues. I had to do an update. And whenever you do those epic updates, you come back and none of your equipment is plugged in properly. So we should be good. In the pre-intro ramble, that link is in the chat for Hood Servative, because I just didn't even feel like wasting the time of going to his email. Hopefully he could take it right from there. If you can't take that link right from the chat, Hood Servative, let me know if you need it in well, right now while I'm talking, I'll try to shoot it to your email. Right now. So that way you're getting it on multiple fronts. Because a little backstory for those of you that don't know, I was trying to contact Hood Servative this morning, like, hey, we was doing the show, and I couldn't get a hold of him. And so I was like doing it with or without him. I was ready to go. But then he called me right before I was about to hit the go live button, and now we're doing it. And he called me, and he sounded real sleep. Sounded like he basically he was asleep when I was calling him, and and he had it. I could just hear it in his voice that he, cried himself to sleep last night and was drinking away all of his sorrows when it comes to the relations between black men and black women ever working out and coming together. I could tell he just drunk the last drop of hope that he had, and so I could just hear it in his voice. But Hood Servative, welcome to the show. Was that about accurate what I said? Mic check. Are you there? There you go. I heard something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Could you hear what I was saying?
Oh yeah, I did hear you. I was gonna say that wasn't hope. That was cognac. Lots and lots of cognac.
Yeah. Jackie Jack got you right. Hood Sensitive came out last night.
Nah, I mean, honestly, this is a little personal detail. My birthday is December 23rd, and so
Okay.
I was out last night doing a lot of shit I'm not gonna tell you guys about on YouTube, but I didn't make it home. I didn't even go home yet. I was, oh god, my stomach hurts.
We got Hood Servative hungover. Got Hood Servative up in here, fresh off a hangover. This is gonna be interesting. But man, Man.
Nah, I'm ready for the game, Coach. I'm ready for the game. No, let's go.
Let's go. All right. What's your initial thoughts, takeaway? You haven't even had this. This is so fresh. You haven't even had a chance to do any content on it. I don't even know if you fully gathered your thoughts on it. I don't know if I fully gathered mine. I really just put my raw, before I passed you on your thoughts, my raw initial thoughts. I put it all in the thumbnail. And even if you weren't coming up, I was gonna just put the link in the chat and just hear what everybody else think, because I'm almost like this. My thoughts, all my thoughts on it, I put it in the thumbnail. The eyewitness, pretty much, it was the same woman. Okay, the same woman that pled the fifth to not incriminate herself is the same woman that an eyewitness saw fired the first shot.
Can I ask you a question?
Tory is found guilty. That right there, that sums up this. There's nothing else to talk about after that. Go ahead.
That woman, is she the only woman? Is she the only witness to actually testify to Tory Lanez firing a shot?
I don't think it was a woman. I think Kelly was the last name of that person.
No, I mean, is there only one witness? This is what I'm asking. Is there just the one person?
It's only one. The closest, it's only one impartial witness that wasn't a part of it. Everybody else was a part of it.
Right. So, as I understand it, there is a witness who was in his window at home watching, and then there's like Kelly, right? And then there's Kelly, and so if the guy, I'm sorry, if the only person who can testify that Tory Lanez shot a weapon at all is also the person who, think about this for a minute, the DA at no point decided to investigate anything other than Tory shot Meg. They never took the angle of maybe somebody else did this. At the very least, we should play the process of elimination game, rule out all other suspects, which is fucking police work 101. That never happened because her DNA never even made it to the crime lab. Am I off base when I say that?
No.
Right. No. I smell a weird conspiracy here, and it's strange because when did a black rapper dude become so important that we had to have a national conspiracy just to fry him? Like, niggas get shot every day, B. We didn't need a conspiracy to ruin a man's life, but now I find myself considering a conspiracy.
Oh, speaking of conspiracies, and I wasn't feeling this when Tory Lanez's dad was talking. And I don't got the clip ready to play, but a lot of y'all saw it when he went on a rant.
I do have the clip. You want me to send it to you? Because we got to watch that. I was waiting. I saw that yesterday, and I said, you know what? I'm out. I'm busy. I can't do nothing right now. I'm going to wait until the morning and do a live reaction. And I totally forgot I was going to do this show in the morning. So we got to do the clip. We got to play the clip.
All right. So we can play that clip. While you get that clip, I'll just set it up for people who haven't seen it. Cool. I mean, Kyson J, I think I got your name right, hopefully. He said that sound like Rock Nation sent a payment. I mean, when I listened to the dad, he had every right to your son just possibly, they said they're going to appeal and all of that stuff. We'll probably get into that and even talk about the intricacies of how that even works and the likelihood of appealing a criminal case like this. Like, I don't know, but he had every right to let out an emotional rant, and it's almost like whatever he say, you do want to have a certain level of empathy for it and everything, but that just seemed weird to me. The whole, calling out Jay-Z and Rock Nation and how they wanted to sign Tory and Tory wouldn't sign. It's like, I think that's black men not really. Once again, not seeing the proper enemy in your face, or not understanding who the enemy is in this situation. A lot of people would say the system. I saw a thumbnail, I can't remember whose it was, who they said, okay, they weaponize the system weaponizes black women against black men or whatever. But it's like, no, you don't got to go to Rock. I don't think you got to go up the line to Rock Nation with this one. I look at this as a situation where, like, I mean, I'm going to keep going back to what I wrote in the thumbnail, where the same person who pled the fifth to avoid incriminating themselves is the same person that the only impartial eyewitness said he saw fire the first shot. It's okay. That was Crimson that said that. I couldn't remember who said that. I be scrolling thumbnails and not clicking on them, messing up everybody else's click through rate. But anyway, but I don't be clicking on shit. I just be scanning thumbnails. but so I'm sitting there like, somebody please the fifth to not incriminate, because they don't want to incriminate themselves. And then a witness shows up and describes this person doing some criminal stuff. Oh, just easy, ding, 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 ding. That's what they didn't want to incriminate themselves of. The thing that the eyewitness just described. That's what she didn't. That's why she pled the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, because she didn't want to incriminate herself of doing what this eyewitness just described. And that's being in an all-out fist fight brawl with the person who got shot. That and then in the midst of that fight, going to the car, as an eyewitness said, getting something from the car, and then the flash of a gunshot came from her hand. That's why she pled the fifth. It's like, once that happens, it's like we know who did it. We know who did it. And Meg's story of, I got out the car and then 2 seconds later he was on the stand hanging out the door saying, dance, bitch, dance. That story was debunked by the only impartial eyewitness. This man, as they said, was a foreigner. He wasn't like, he was describing them as, 2 women, a big man and a little man. If he would have been like, Meg, Kelsey, and Tory, then I would have been like, nigga, let me see your playlist. You got a lot of Tory Lanez songs in your playlist. Maybe you a little biased. This was a foreigner. He didn't fuck with either one of them. He was just like, it was a little man. It was 2 women and a big man, and the two women was fighting. The big man tried to tear them apart. One of the women went to the car. I saw a flash come from there. Then I saw all out battle royal, and then the little man had the gun and he shot it in there. That's how he described it.
So hold on. Let me double check something. Let me cross check something rather.
Okay.
There was a story about Meg the Stallion's driver, and there's video of Megan the Stallion's driver. They're at like a pool party, and he's just like flashing his gun around, waving the gun and shit. So there's all kinds of evidence to start building a negative character case of these people, but. Allegedly, Meg the Stallion's driver disappeared days before he was supposed to testify in court, and then he showed up in court during the jury deliberations, which is basically, a day late and a dollar short. Is that also accurate?
I don't know if it was I don't know if the jury was deliberating, but I do know he showed up late. But I didn't think it was so late that I remember what's your homie name? The
Timmy
Gupta, whatever. Yeah. I remember Timmy Gupta saying something like, through some odd turn of events or through some technicality, that he wasn't going to be, on the stand or something. I don't know. It was like through some weird technicality. And it could have been because he showed up right in the nick of time. That could have been the case.
That seems very orchestrated to me. That seems like some shit right out of Matlock, bro.
Yeah. When you said, why do we need a conspiracy to just get a random, a 5'3" I mean, well, some people did come in my chat say he could rap. I just assumed he was just an I rapper, but why do we need all this to get an I rapper locked up? It's it's weird because Meg does, in my assessment, Meg the Stallion committed the crime, and I don't even know if this is a crime. She committed the crime of. I'll explain it like this: if I got into a fight with my best friend because I kept fucking all his girlfriends, I got into a fight with my best friend because I kept fucking all his girlfriends, and the fight got bad to the point where he reached the gun and shot it at the ground and hit my foot. I would lie for him. I would say I stepped on glass because it's my fault. I shouldn't have been fucking all of you. I shouldn't be fucking all your girlfriends over the course of the years. So I would lie for my friend. But then when it get to the point where,
you're
I
thinking
can't
like
lie.
a man.
Hold on. Let me just hear me out here. I would lie for my friend, but if it got to the point to where bullets, shells, casings, the whole wherever all that's being investigated, now you can't lie and say you stepped on glass. Now you gotta get your friend locked up because you caused this situation that led to him committing that crime against me because I was fucking all his girlfriends. So it's like, yeah, you could just go on and say, yeah, best friend shot me. Or you could put it off on one of the skanks that both of y'all was fucking. Like, to me, that's what happened. And it's like Meg is so it's like she have to stand in it and make sure that everybody believes that's what happens, because if that gets proven otherwise, then her reputation of her just being a flat out liar, her trying to pin something on somebody because she didn't want to pin it on her friend who had every reason to shoot her ass in the foot. It's like, so it's basically like that's where it's not thinking like a man, because only a woman will say, I don't care if this guy does 22 years if I halfway save face on some shit. That's how women operate. Like, it was a situation even in my hometown where a chick was charging a guy up, like trying to like basically say she got raped or something, because she didn't want to get in trouble. I mean, they was younger, like high school age. She didn't want to get in trouble. She would have got put on punishment if they found out she was fucking. So she was willing to ruin somebody's life just because she didn't want to get in trouble. A little smack on the wrist, get on punishment.
Many such cases, brother. Many such cases.
Yeah, so it's like a large adult version extrapolation of that. It's like that's how I'm looking at this shit. But Deadly Raver, all right, I'm gonna throw it to you. Let me get to the super chat. I'm gonna throw it to you because it's like you want to jump in and say something. Then and you got the clip of the dad ready to go. But Deadly Raver in the building says, "What in the whole hell? He's guilty. They say you miss all the shots you don't take, but apparently you can still get blamed for them shaking my damn head." That's even if you if you go in with the story. Which, I mean, the story was soundly debunked, the notion that he was shooting at her. That was soundly debunked. And it was obviously a person who more than likely was shooting at her. So that's just where I'm at with that. Azrael, first of his name, says, Alex Shapiro is the lawyer of Rock Nation. He was Meg's lawyer, and he also was a part of Bobby Shmurda defense. The women he mentioned, Desiree Perez is convicted felon and Fed informant. She's CEO of Rock Nation. Okay, I mean, good information. I don't know. We're gonna break down the clip, and hopefully Hood Servative can make some more sense of it than what I can.
What it seems like, Megan isn't signed to Rock Nation. I think she wants to be signed to Rock Nation, and she has to sort out a contract dispute with her current management team. And what I think people are referring to is basically with artists like Meg Thee Stallion, who's, prime of her career, sex symbol, cultural icon for like battered black women and all that goofy shit. There are billions of dollars on the table. There's potentially $1 billion career boost on the table here for, just for everyone in that corner of the industry, right?
Oh.
So $1 billion potentially is a big pie to slice. And there's a lot of money to pay off people to, do the quiet thing or whatever you need done. Like, yeah, I don't think it has to be that, but there's a lot of room for that.
Oh, like I said yesterday, she did WAP. That makes her a national treasure. So, so much can be built. Billions can be built upon.
No. It's not just WAP. I mean, listen, everybody loves a WAP, but that's not what I'm talking about here. Before it was after WAP, yeah, but before the trial, I think this was a Saturday Night Live show, and she did that. It was like a infamous kind of skit or a scene with she did a performance and had Malcolm X playing in the background. talking about the black woman is the most unprotected. They put her up as now the face of battered women, right? Which is weird. But they put her up as the face of a battered woman. Once you do that to a woman, she's not allowed to fail. Once they make you the face of men do horrible things to women, she's not allowed to be seen as the horrible person making horrible things happen. That's just no. Because now we all look bad, and we can't all look bad.
Yeah. Anybody keeping score at home? All the black women don't get treated the same. Looking at Amber Heard, looking at Meg Thee Stallion.
No, let's go further. Let's go further.
Well, if we're just looking at that, black women 1, white women 0. All right, go.
A black woman lied on Brian Banks. OJ killed allegedly a white woman, walked right out of court. Kobe allegedly forced his way into the subway with another white woman, walked his way out of court. Black woman says anything, you gonna die, nigga.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, yeah, all right. I'm sitting there trying to think of what's the counter to that. Trying to
find a counter to that. I dare you.
I'm trying to devil's advocate it. I mean, there are situations, but I mean, we're looking at recent high profile situations. You got a point. Azrael, first of his name, says they filed a bench warrant for Meg's security and found him hiding at his father's house, allegedly. I believe that it was his unregistered gun. Thank you for the super chat. I was reading this.
So Tory gets charged with another nigga's gun, who also happens to be part of the victim's crew, right? And yeah, man, my red flags, bro. There's so many red flags here. You didn't investigate the girl who was a possible suspect. She had motive, opportunity. She had more motive than what's his name, Tory Lanez. I mean, who shoots a girl in the foot because she say you can't rap? Like, even at the Smack DVD rap, you ever notice they got girls in rap battles now, and not one girl has ever been punched in the face, and they be deserving that shit.
Oh yeah, them rap battles be vicious.
And it's like, dudes, when it was all men at the rap battle, and plus, they had to take time to clean up the rap. Like, listen, if you fight, everybody doesn't get paid today. So, like, I get it. It took time to sort that out. But when you watch a rap battle with a bunch of dudes, there's always that air of tension, like, yo, don't hit him in the mouth. Like, whatever he say, don't hit him in the mouth, right? But girls, there's never that expectation, so they just say the most reckless shit. And, like, that kind of applies to everything now.
I watched one of them rap battles, and one of them dudes literally was talking about how one of the guy he was rapping against, his uncle touched him when he was 5 or some shit. Like, they be digging up so much personal shit to where it's like, I don't know how people don't get shot after them rap battles. Like, they be like,
they used to back when it was good.
They be hiring private investigators to help give them to find out some dirt so they can put it in some bars in a rap battle. Like, them rap battles be vicious. I'd be like, hell, like, they be bringing up all kinds of shit. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Anyway. Speaking of women in rap too, this is totally not a segue. This peep game.
Okay.
Men, you are gonna regret the day you ever let a bitch on the mic, bro. I promise you. I promise y'all, all y'all rappers who think this shit is cool, y'all gonna regret the day you ever let them bitches talk.
Yeah.
Because think about what female rap is right now, bro. It's everything in female rap is men want to fuck me and these men ain't shit. It's variations of those two things, right? You do not win in that scenario. I promise you.
Yeah, all the men want to fuck me. Fuck you, niggas. That's female rap. That's female rap. Yeah, you ain't lying. But all right, let's go ahead and get into this. Like, I didn't care for some aspects of his rant as I talked about, but I mean, in that moment, he got free reign to give whatever kind of emotional, whatever he got to do, whatever he feels he need to get off his chest, whatever. But I didn't care for where he took some of this, but it's not my place to care or not care. But you wanted to pull it up, and you pulled something from it. You pulled something from it. So
well,
go ahead.
I actually didn't watch it. That's what I was saying. I was saving this clip to do a live reaction. I was going to get up earlier and try to do a quick show, but
well, go ahead then. Go ahead.
Alcohol doesn't cooperate.
Okay, do you have any idea who the chick in the brown and with the big Angie Stone afro and the big titties? Do you have any clue who she is?
Might be a stepmother, but I have no clue, so I'm not even going to speculate yet.
Okay. Yeah. When you say impassioned, not emotional, I didn't mean emotional in a negative sense. Like people in these spaces, people use emotional as an insult. You being emotional. No, I mean I'm saying he had every right to be, emotional.
Yeah, that's his son. Come on.
In the normal, yeah. I wasn't saying it in a negative way. It was emotional and rightfully so. Emotional and rightfully so. But all right, go ahead. You got the controls actually. So yeah, go ahead and play ball.
You want to know exactly how I'm feeling? Yes, sir. I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. You want to know how I feel?
Wait, push pause. Send me the link to it. For whatever reason, yours is choppy. It's choppy on my end. I don't know if everybody else saw that.
Okay. All right.
Put the link in the private chat.
Give me a sec.
Yeah, you got that Plantation Wireless over there. You just throw that link in the private chat, and I'll just pull it up.
It's Project Wireless, bro. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not the Plantation no more. You know, Project. My bad. But yeah, he came out going off, and
all right, we got it.
All right, there it is, right there. All right. Clickety clack right there. Pause, push pause. StreamYard. Share screen. Just walking y'all through the process. StreamYard, share screen, click on Twitter. Pull it on up. White screen. And we are back. All right, let's go. Hopefully this shouldn't be choppy.
You want to know exactly how I'm feeling? Yes, sir. I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. Yes. You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z. Yes. You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it.
All right. I'm just going to pause it right there. If you had to make an assessment, what the hell... Just lay out the case best you can. What the hell does just to remember the names? Alex Shapiro is a lawyer of Rock Nation, and also, and who else did he name? Desiree Perez. No, I don't even know if he named a bunch of names, and he went all the way up the line to Jay-Z. And what the hell does all of that got to do with this in your assessment?
Like I said, $1 billion on the table, bro. $1 billion. And
okay, so when you say $1 billion on the table, so we basically going for, I don't even know if to call it full conspiracy. It's technically a conspiracy if somebody is conspiring to do something behind the scenes. So we going for a gangster with it, where we're basically saying that, okay, Tory was innocent, everybody knew it, but Rock Nation with billions of dollars on the line with Meg, and they signed Meg, and they can't have her take that L. They pulled some strings. They did whatever they had to do behind the scenes and made and got a guilty verdict out of this. In other words, That's what he called. He's blaming big money people in the industry buying a court case win. That's essentially what's going on.
We're not talking about, like, I don't know, what's like the highest concentration of white people in America, like Iowa, Montana, or something. Like, we're not talking about Iowa and Montana. We're talking about Hollywood. Hollywood, Bernard. This is California, the capital of hate a nigga feminism.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me if just the fact that I put it this way: one, you don't need a pure conspiracy with like Rockefeller and all that. You don't need that. So I remember I started out saying that doesn't have to be true. Just because it's California, feminism, violence against women and all that, the case is ready made as long as you point the finger at the right guy, right? Any guy, basically. So because of all that, it's obvious that there are people with an ideological leaning that would lead them to just convict him off rip, right? Then you add the fact that you have millions of dollars at play anyway. So it'll probably cost slightly less money to pay people to do some shit they were liable to do anyway, right? So it does kind of feel like there are things going on here that deserve questioning. Again, from a police perspective, why do you not rule out other possible suspects? And then on top of not ruling out other possible suspects, you grant immunity to a possible suspect. And I'm not supposed to smell a rat. I'm not supposed to think something shady is going on here.
Yeah, and just only thing I'll add to it, one wonderful, you laid it out quite well. The only thing I'll add to it as far as that immunity, and this is the one thing I keep going back to, and I'm going to be a broken record on this. The person who was granted the immunity or offered some form of immunity, along with the pleading of the fifth to not incriminate herself, is the person who the impartial eyewitness said fired the first shot, and who was is the person who was in a all-out fist fight, a violent fight with the victim, who then reached in the car and shot the gun. I mean, reached in the car, grabbed the weapon, and shot the gun. Like, that's you have your motive, you have a fight, you have an eyewitness, you have like you got everything to like that. All right, so now I guess I understand Pop's rant a little more, where he's just naming industry people. I guess I understand it a little more, but I was like, that's why I said I didn't care for the first thing he came out. He walked out the courtroom after his son just got found guilty on all charges and facing possibly 22 years. They're going to appeal, but he's facing possibly 22 years. And I'm like, the first thing he did when he came out is called out Jay-Z. That looked weird. Like, just like, what? Wait, hold on, huh? That looked weird, but okay. You landed the plane. I understand, but that looked weird to me.
I just noticed something in the chat. There are some women's in the chat who are unhappy with I guess the both of us. And I think it'd be interesting to have if women in particular take issue with how men, because I'm noticing a huge gender war brewing online right now.
Yeah,
and I would be interested to have women come up and explain exactly why they take such glee in this, or just tell me objectively why you think he's guilty and why you think we are wrong, and believing there was at least reasonable doubt. And even Lizette Taylor, that comment, that's exactly why I started saying this. I don't think he texted her to say he was sorry he shot her. He said he was sorry, but I don't think he literally said, "I shot you."
Yeah, I was just about to say, just reading this for a second. It says, people are truly forgetting that he texted Meg saying, "Sorry, I shot you." You have to, either she's trolling or she's very ignorant or very stupid. Either ignorant, trolling, or stupid. Because he didn't say, "I'm sorry, I shot you." And all the everybody even the people who wanted to see him go down, when they mention that, they do put in the asterisk. He didn't say, "Sorry, I shot you." He could clearly could be apologizing for, I'm sorry. I was fucking both of y'all. I'm kind of in the middle of the thing that caused y'all to get into a fight. And we all was out there in a battle royal fighting and all of that shit. And I'm sorry for the part I had to play and all of this. Like, that's clearly what the sorry could be. He is at the center of what happened. That's clearly what that sorry could be. But going forward, he says, so one right there, that was a mission that he shot her. That was a mission that he shot her.
I'm not even gonna pick on you, Lizette. You know.
He also texts me that he will pay her off, not to say he shot her. It was also no evidence of that. It was all that. That's why they couldn't use that in the courtroom. There was no
Lizette,
evidence.
are you saying he texted you personally, Lizette? Like, what the fuck you got to do with it? Why would he be telling you these things?
I just assumed I was assuming she was speaking in what, like, fifth person or something. I didn't think she meant that like that.
Yeah, this gender war thing isn't gonna die for a while, bro. This just kind of reopened a whole new front in the gender war. And remember, there are people of the belief that the gender war was somehow won, and the only thing is over.
No.
It's all done, but the crying or whatever, as they say. And no, bro, we are so far from anything being done.
Yeah, I didn't buy that. The most that I had said, if you narrow it down to online talking points, and far as the narrative and getting the word out and message out, and I was willing to say that we had no war is being won, but the rhetorical war of words, yeah, we win in that, because the whole nature and tenor of conversations changed. Like, just go to the Shade Room right now, or any website, and just see or any Instagram page, and if you just see a post on this, you're gonna see you're gonna see 50% of the women on Tory's side, or 50% of the women calling out Meg. Women calling out women didn't really be a thing. A woman basically had to be caught on camera sticking her baby in the microwave and putting it at 5 minutes and sitting there cleaning her nails while she watching it cook. Like that's what used to have to happen for women in mass to be calling out another woman.
Bro, so, even now, there was a story just like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Some girl, I don't know the details of her life. I'm assuming it was a men's tragedy.
Wait, time out. Let me make sure I do this. All right, y'all. This link ain't in the chat for everybody. If one of the women in the chat that got some disagreement with what we saying, want to come up and speak, they can come up and argue their point. This link is not in the chat for everybody. Don't make me have to hurt anybody's feelings and not let somebody up. This is for a woman who disagrees with us, wants to come up and argue her point.
And please don't come up and spaz out. It's too early. I'm hungover. Just be nice.
All right. Anyway, go ahead. What was you saying?
Now, I totally forgot what I was saying, but this is something I've been holding my tongue for a second now.
You said
believe black women.
Okay, go ahead.
No, this idea, this thing of believe black women, right? This hashtag been going around for years now, right? How come it's never believed black men?
I don't even.
I thought they loved us, right? I thought they had our back, our support. Like I thought we were theirs. They don't ever believe us, though.
Yeah. No, that's true. And bruh, like, do y'all not listen? Right when I said the link is in the chat for a woman to come up and argue their point, somebody named just a clear and obvious man's name came up. I was putting the link in the chat because there's some women in the chat popping shit off. If they want to come up and argue, the link is in the chat for them. First thing happened, a dude came up. Like, nah. We doing a show here. We're doing a show here, but I will take a segue to argue with a female detractor who wants to argue her side. So that's a no. That's a no for you. But oh, okay. He said he was 15 minutes behind listening. All right, my bad, bro. My bad. I mean, okay, cool. We got it. Understood. All right. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and roll the rest of this clip. But like I said, as far as the online talking points and everything, yeah, the word has been getting out to the point to where, yes, men have effectively stirred the pot of the culture. I'm not saying so. I mean, it's goofy to say. It's goofy to me to say that something is won. But as far as stirring the pot of the culture, to where even on that damn comedy hype channel, they got damn near 1 million subscribers, and they got that comedian chick, that Yamanika chick, on there talking when she's breaking down this case. She brought up fucking Red Pill, Manosphere, MGTOW, Kevin Samuels. She it's like it's like between the overall, from the biggest channel to the small channel, the collective of men actually speaking up and getting their voices, their thoughts, their perspectives, their views out there, it has affected the overall dialogue to where every conversation has to average the type of stuff that we talk about in these spaces into the equation. So in that sense, no, definitely battles have been won in the intellectual discourse, rhetorical war of words. Yeah, and if you narrow it down to that point, then yeah, I mean, I could definitely say there's some winning happening, but nothing is fucking won. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. But all right, let's roll. Let's roll the rest of this. For those that missed what's going on, the dad came out the courtroom. The first thing he did is called out Rock Nation and some important people who some important people in Rock Nation who he think is played a part in getting the guilty verdict going on. I mean, kind of conspiracy theory-ish, but there's some you know, I let him connect the dots. Hood Conservative landed the plane on some of the dots that he was connecting, saying that Meg is got a potential $1 billion career, and they got to keep her name clean as possible. So there's that. Even if it mean Tory got to go down. That's more or less where I think the dad is coming from, and that's what how Hood Conservative understood what he said. That just giving you the backstory on what he said. Now going forward, let's play the rest of the tape.
The only independent witness in this courtroom is a man whose name is Sean Kelly. He came to court, and our attorneys.
All right, bruh, in the back, you're probably behind the feed. I put the link in the chat because there was some women in there popping off. If they wanted to come up and argue their point, I was going to let them come up and argue their point. It ain't a free for all. Thank you very much. And I open it up later. You probably can come back on up. All right, let me back up. He mentioned Sean Kelly. That was the only independent witness. Let's go.
Whose name is Sean Kelly. In this courtroom is a man whose name is Sean Kelly. He came to court, and our attorneys, he would not even shake their hand after he went upstairs with Kathy Taw and Alex Butt.
They met on Saturday before. They
met with our witness. And then the man came back, and I sat in the hallway while he sat with Jody Little, the prosecutor's investigator, who acted so dumb, an intelligent woman who did not want. Listen, I've seen so much evidence buried in this, and I know exactly what the public out here will say. Don't talk. You will say, I say this because I'm a father. See, I am a father of thousands around the world. I'm a father of my kids, but a spiritual father to many. And I don't make stupid allegations because I got nothing better to do. You all have been bartering and trading the souls of young black and brown men in this country. And I'm calling on all the umbrellas. I'm calling on everybody in this country to begin to rise up because your sons have been done dirty.
There's actually a longer clip of that, but that's probably everything that was said. I mean, he said some religious stuff after that, but it's actually a longer clip of that. But yeah.
Yeah, that was the longest one I could find. I'm not mad at the pops. He's his dad, so whatever.
No,
it's like when the mom is falling over the casket crying, "Oh, my baby," it looks how it looks, but it's all right.
I mean, yeah, no, that was I definitely take that over my baby, crying speech. I take that. As I like the representation of a dad there to speak up on behalf of his son. Yeah, I like that. Those are some optics I believe in that I can go with. So yeah, I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping on that. Here's a longer version of the clip of the dad, because I don't know what else was said, but just in full fairness, let me get the full clip up. I just had that was sent to me via email, so let me get this one up. Well, it's just a 3-minute long clip, so it's just a little bit, just a minute longer than what we saw right there.
Yeah, I know. It seems like I got cut off. You
find everything on Twitter, so all your all your sources be shorter.
I know.
Twitter. I'm starting to notice that.
Twitter, like, you know what I realize about Twitter? When something happens like media worthy, it's a great place to gather clips quickly, because stuff gets buried under the algorithm after a while. So if you get on Twitter, you can find the videos kind of quickly.
Yeah, no doubt. Real quick before we play the rest of that, Roddy got in the building. He says, "Man, career was fizzling out." Really? This happened pre-WAP. Oh, so she did WAP. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I am pretty sure WAP is the biggest hit to date for her, so there could be an argument to that.
Her career was fizzling out. This happened pre-WAP, so this shit happened. She did WAP, and so now we can't. We got to keep her alive. Got to keep it going. Gotta rack up these billions. Okay, I think the father is claiming Rock pushed Meg to accuse Tory of intentionally shooting her to stay relevant. I don't think his claim is far-fetched. I don't know, man. Like that, like it's not a bad story to say that Meg. Okay, if the news reporting said Meg Thee Stallion got into a fight with her friend and her friend shot her in the foot, that. I mean, it's just like, okay, you got shot in the foot. That's fucked up. I think that's pretty much would be the story, and it would just be the story for a little bit. I think it makes it a much bigger ordeal if you go and blame another celebrity, So I don't. That's so the conspiracy aspect behind it. I'm not fully buying all of that. I'm just more so. I'm thinking she just let out an initial lie, because at the end of the day, she didn't want to, get her friend locked up. But then it got to the point to where somebody had to be guilty of this, and then she, blamed Tory instead of her friend. I just look at it as that simple.
Well, this is totally non sequitur. It's slightly teeny tiny bit related, just to sort of build a character argument against the industry itself, perhaps. But are you familiar with the Suge Knight? What's his Ice Baby? Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice. Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Suge Knight Vanilla Ice incident, where he was alleged to have hung Vanilla Ice over a balcony?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The only reason I bring that up is to remind you that, that people are willing to play hardball for a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't think anyone in this circle is above pushing some buttons, is all I'm saying. I don't know that it has to be true, but it definitely wouldn't surprise me if it were true. And it seems like something is going on here.
All right. I'm distracted by the Tweety Bird and the big titties. Anyway, Jackie Jack in the building says they let Casey Anthony go free for deleting her baby, but Tory guilty on all charges with no evidence. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. But all right, let's go.
Trust me, I have intercessors. I'll deal with you.
Yes.
And whenever they can. Jay-Z, let me speak to you.
He has kids.
Rock Nation,
yes.
Because my son refused to sign a Rock Nation,
yes.
I'll deal with you.
Yes.
And Desiree Perez, you wicked witch, you snitch.
Yes.
You turned on your co-conspirators, all the whole mafia, one of you that was peddling drugs in this country, and you ruled on them before so the Fed could give you a deal. All of you, trust me, I have intercessors, prayer warriors around the world, and they will not stop until you are cut off. No, we don't shoot you with guns, but we know exactly how to bring you down in the spirit.
Yo, we pause for a second.
It's all done.
He just touched on something that I got to do a show on this as soon as I get a moment. But I think no snitching is officially dead. Between no snitching never ever applied to women, first of all. So that little point of fact always bothered me as far as like, you know, gangster shit concerned. Like, bro, these the biggest snitches in the game. But like when it comes to the no snitching just in general, when you see the Megan Thee Stallion case, and you know, Candace did that whole thing about this is like a no snitching event. I think she was way off putting this on no snitching, but obviously, like Meg came right out and said she told the world he shot me. Like she'd been saying that way before the trial started. So that's that. And then two, when you look at the other big case that's going on right now, the whole YNF gang flipping the table on what's his name? On Young Thug, right? Young Thug or whatever his name is. And it's like, bruh, nobody's even talking about the snitching anymore. When the dude Gunna got out, there was a little debate over, you know, he snitched, but he ain't really snitched. That's kind of how I looked at it. He snitched, but not really. And he probably is going to have to come back later and offer some more testimony or something like that. And then everybody else behind him takes a deal too. And it's like, yeah, that thing dead, bro. Snitching, the no snitching wave is dead. Well, I wonder how rap is going to respond now.
Yeah, speaking of snitching, we got into that debate yesterday on the snitching thing. After the show, GC did go and fact check all the people that dude was saying wasn't snitching, and his stories were not quite accurate. Yeah, all those people did snitch. Like people be snitching and they still get to be hood heroes after the fact. You know, it's almost like I think the way Game Changer explained it on his show, basically the way that they use the no snitch rule, it's all a matter of do you when it comes to like snitches get stitches, well, do you have the power to hand out the stitches? If you're higher up than the people that you're snitching on, then it's like the rule don't apply. It's almost like if you lower than me and you snitch on me, I'm going to have some stuff happen to you. It's almost like a threat from the people at the top. It's not some code. It's a threat from the people at the top. Like, you nigga, you better not snitch on me. I'm gonna have some people kill you. Like it's no code of the street. It's no code. So that's pretty much where that's at. But Quarter Water in the building said GC was right yesterday. Desiree Perez snitched and got rewarded by being Rock Nation CEO. Yeah, people snitch and be hood heroes. People snitch and then turn around and be hood heroes. Shout out to Clement Gray in the building says, I still want to know if anyone been shot in the foot before. If so, how long does it take before you can walk again or twerk again? I'm sure it's not right after the shot. No, I mean, she wasn't directly shot in the foot. It was bullet fragments. So somebody shot near her foot and some of the fragments got in her foot. And so, you know, that counts as something. You know, I'm not going to discount that. I was having a discussion with Lil Big Nate in the chat. He was saying she technically didn't get shot, and I'm not even going to play around with that. I mean, somebody shot at you in something and you were injured, then okay, that happened. Now it's an issue of sorting out who did it. So, I mean, you know, if she had to have surgery to have something removed from her foot, then something got in her foot from a gunshot. All right, who did it? That's the only discussion for me. But all right.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. Not even a whole bullet. 22 years for a piece of a bullet. That's wild when you think about it.
Especially a piece of a bullet that somebody else shot. But yeah, well, yeah. How much you get 22 for a piece of a bullet? How much for a whole bullet? like How much for the whole bullet? Like, damn.
It feel like that Chris Rock scene.
I know that's what I was doing. You saw where I was going. How much for one rib?
Right, like this is wild, bro. They really killing them, yo, for a piece of a bullet. Like, damn, bro, just give me a piece of a sentence. Like, keep it a buck.
Like going in the restaurant, you say, "How much for a bite? I just want a bite or something. I don't know. I want a whole burger. I just want a bite. That's it. It's just a little small piece. Just a smidge. It's like that's what he going. That's what he getting 22 years for. A little smidge. That's it. Just a little piece of a bullet.
Let's go. Open way, guys. Open up.
Try to mess with
300 black, I no kid back.
All right. Damn, that's a long outro. All right. There's that.
Hold on. We got Smoke Divine in the chat says laughing at somebody pain ain't cool. I'm sorry, you must be new to me. I'm sorry to let you down. This is kind of what I do, and not for nothing. I'm not really laughing at Tory's pain, but some shit is funny. But like, you should see how women are going ham about Tory online right now. Like, the memes are coming out, like the edits are popping up, like it's getting ugly on the internet right now, bro. You might not even want to turn on your social media for a little while. It's getting crazy.
Yeah, they listen. I can pull up some of that shit right now. Hold on.
Yeah, I got a couple links too, man. Like, they really out here wild.
If you got links of the sisterhood basically out there acting like how black people act when OJ got off, if he was skipping, there's another Chris Rock joke. He's like, people were skipping around like, we won. He's like, I looked in the mailbox for my OJ prize and nothing. It was nothing there. It's like they had to like they full blown gonna get an award or something. Like they won something. So yeah, I got some clips on that. But if you got it ready, because I'm gonna botch finding it. I know I already botched finding it, but it was go ahead and get whatever you got, because I can't find what. Okay, hold on. Nope, that's not it. All right, here.
I'm just gonna send you a couple links in the back.
All right, no, here it is right here. Hold on. I got some. Oh yeah, well, send me those links in the back. But I got one for y'all. I'm gonna put this on the screen. Or they talking about laughing at somebody's pain. I mean, like, I don't even know why I even pay attention to the. It's like it's clear when somebody is saying something only with the purpose of deflecting. Only with the purpose of deflecting. This person. And this reminds me of when somebody said, I ain't even about to call him out by name, came in here and said, well, Meg Thee Stallion still deserves justice. It's like, if all the evidence is showing, I don't care what happened to you. I don't care if you was raped. Not even put the R on it. If you was raped and you say that somebody did it that didn't do it and somebody else is facing 25 years for that, I'm like, fuck your justice. That's where I'm at with that. Fuck your justice and your pain. You just for optics is willing to watch somebody do 25 years to life. Like, no, forget all that. I don't care about your justice. Fuck your justice. Fuck your pain. Fuck your feelings. Fuck all that. No, that's where I'm at with that. If you accuse somebody and all the evidence is showing that person didn't do it, then no, you just come to earth. You just come to earth. You don't get to make a. Well, you don't understand the pain and the trauma that I'm going through and everything. No. You don't get that. You
realize every time a woman gets accused of doing something crazy, they get to hide behind the pain and the trauma of some shit that happened to them. Like, she kills her kids, postpartum depression. Yeah. She kills her boyfriend. Oh, she was sad and abused. Like, anything she does, they have an excuse for built in. So it's like, I've heard them all by now.
Okay. If you have this quote up here, I don't even got it up probably. Nope, I don't. I'm sorry. Hold on. This is a quote off this came from Instagram somewhere. It says, if you have a man in your life who was defending Tory Lanez and you're in a position where you can safely remove that man from your life, do it immediately. This is a peculiar statement because I didn't even notice this part. Like the first thing when I first read this, the thing that I noticed at first was that if you have a man in your life who was defending Tory Lanez, remove him from your life. But I didn't catch and if you're in the position where you can safely remove him from your life. What are they really saying right there? It's basically like if you still need that nigga to benefit off of him and leech off of him, girl, keep leeching. But if you in position to just safely walk away and you ain't really gonna miss nothing that you need, go on and get away. It's like that's basically what that whole statement is saying. And this is one of those comments too. I mean, speaking of gender, the gender war aspect of this whole thing. Yeah, that's a factor in the equation. But this is one of those comments when I look at the comment section and I do see a lot of women. And keep in mind, if we're talking about female content creators, okay, they have a male audience, so like you said, they're allies in the propaganda war, but I don't use them as the rubric or the scale to see if how much are men really stirring the pot of the culture or whatever. But I do look at comment sections of just regular chicks that got a normal amount of followers and ain't really posting content or nothing like that. They just in the comment section giving their opinion. And they just like I'm noticing a lot more of them like this chick here saying there's nothing wrong with the man defending him. We were not there. No one knows what really happened. Blah, 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 blah. You see a lot of chicks, taking that position or that tack with it, where they're not swinging for sisterhood, So I do notice that more. I do notice that more. But again, you see a lot of comments like this. If you have a man in your life who was defending Tory Lanez and you're in a position where you can safely remove that man from your life, do it immediately. You see nonsense like that. But all right, but I'm about to pull up some of whatever I don't know if you want to respond to that shit right there, but I'm about to pull up whatever you sent.
Now, I was just thinking about something though. Like you and I have talked about this, so we kind of understand it. But the idea of like domestic violence being largely a group sport, right? It's everybody's typically involved. It's not just a one-sided thing for the most part. But it appears one-sided when it comes to the media. It appears one-sided as far as how the court wants to interpret it as one-sided more often than not. So this is just going to kind of solidify that position even further now. Like, no matter what you do, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It all right, you sent me this shit here. Internet ain't shit. She talking about laughing at pain. I think 22 years in prison. Hold on, wait. 22 years in prison is pretty painful, but I bet that same chick laughed at this. And oh damn, this is a chick who got her head covered. This is one of them head covered chicks that posted this.
No, I just typed in Tory Lanez on Twitter, and if you slide over to videos and just scroll down, like people are just posting so many little like memes and little video clip memes and stuff like that, and like they're going savage, bro. Men and women both getting in on it too. It's just it's funny to watch though. Like some people got jokes. What are you gonna do?
All right, here we go. Yeah, okay, that ain't shit. What is this?
But they got a bunch of memes about him getting tossed around in prison because he's a little bitty dude or whatever. So and speaking of laughing at black men's pain, like everybody's straight with the what's gonna happen to him when he get locked up, right? Like so you okay that you happy to joke about a black man having having his subway violated, but you don't want nobody to be laughing at people's pain. Like stop it.
Yeah,
You don't give a fuck.
She had bullet fragments in her foot that got removed. He's gonna be 22 years of potential. Yeah, no. Yeah.
And then let's actually something else. There's a video I was gonna respond to on my show, and I don't know if you want to use it or not. But it's this dude out there. I think you've actually reviewed him once or twice, way in the past. This dude named Conscious Lee, and he's like super duper woke. And I seen him post a video about this Meg Thee Stallion thing, and I didn't get a chance to watch it all because I kind of live review it on air. But what I'm noticing, the reason why I brought this up is because, like, even with the young Thugger case, I'm kind of looking at this weird parallel. All of y'all, I mean, Young Gunner, all of them, the YSL case, a lot of people were screaming, free Thugger, free Gunner, let them, right? So them niggas got bodies on them. They got like a whole city worth of bodies on them, right? But the same people, a lot of the same people who want, free Thugger and free Gunner and all that shit, they dancing on Tory grave right now, basically. They like, look. I'm glad that nigga going to jail. It's like, bro, wait, I thought you wanted niggas out. I thought y'all niggas was against the justice system. Now, all of a sudden, when Meg Thee Stallion gets a piece of a bullet in her foot, you want a nigga to do life in Leavenworth. Like, damn, that's wild, homie.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. That's definitely wild. Yeah, I was trying to check something. We ever know if you said you had something else to pull up. Go ahead. I'm trying to get to the super chats. Shout out to everybody supporting the stream. Do appreciate each and every one of you. Mike and Vince Perkins in the buildings. He says reasonable doubt. Jay-Z, Rock Nation. Oh, it's funny. Jay-Z get brought up in here. His first album name was Reasonable Doubt, and Tory. There's a lot of reasonable doubt in that case. Okay. Anyway, reasonable doubt. Jay-Z, Rock Nation. Is it me? My brother. The prosecution doesn't even have a theory on the events leading up to the shots. Just saying. Yeah. Argument broke out over him being a mediocre rapper at best or something like that.
That is literally the scenario, right? We are supposed to believe, let's just start the tape right in the car, right? We are supposed to believe that they just somehow got into an argument in the car over him not being a good rapper, and he put her out the car, and then after he put her out the car, which basically wins the fight, he decided to grab the gun and shoot over the car window or something. Like they said, he like leaned over the top of the window and then shot at her, said, "Dance, bitch, dance." Like that is basically the story. That just doesn't even sound accurate on the surface of it. Like no backstory, no nothing leading up to it. It's just that. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and then it's so funny that the defense, they laid out this is a part where they say, well, why does it matter about her sexual history? Now they laid out a pretty good story, that's well corroborated, has a beginning, middle, end. Like they have the full scenario, how even before everything was at a fever pitch, they got the full story of how they both, about the history of how, they sleeping with the same men, and this whole fight was centered around them sleeping with Tory, and then they went from the pool party, and they both had an issue because he looked like he was trying to smash Kylie Jenner, and then that's what started the argument, and then it was a story of Tory to explaining to Kelsey why always why you siding with her. She been snaking men behind your back all this time. And so something like that, blah blah blah. They confirmed a lot of aspects of that story. Kelsey confirmed a lot of aspects of that story. All led up beginning, middle, end to where the two women started arguing about the men that they've been sleeping with, particularly the one that was in the back seat. And then they got into a fight with it. They started yelling, started getting loud. And then right up until that point, that's where the eyewitness heard it and then woke up and came out and then said and picked up right there where the story left off, like, oh yeah, these two women are violently fighting all the way up until he said so a muzzle flash, a shot came from one of the hand of one of the women when she went back into the car and came back outside. It's like, so her whole story of just only she got out the car and then some shots was fired, that was proven wrong. That was proven wrong by the eyewitness and everything that Kelsey said. Everything that Kelsey said really, up until the point where she did start pleading the fifth because she didn't want to, I can't. It's kind of, you can use what Kelsey said, but she cut the story short right at the point where she became, guilty. So it's
right.
Like, go ahead.
Hold on. Could we just delve into that for a minute? Let's theorize about that for a minute. What are we not allowed to know because they allowed her to plead the fifth?
I think we are not. Hold on, wait. No. It's a simple answer to that question. What the eyewitness saw. That's what she pled the fifth on, because she would incriminate herself of doing what the eyewitness said that he saw her doing. Okay. Like that's it. Right?
No, that sounds about right, but I think there could even be more, because like the eyewitness only saw what he saw. Her pleading the fifth could apply to so many things at this point. Like, we just don't know how much she is culpable. Let's use that word, right? Because she was allowed to plead the fifth, it does kind of paint her as a possible other suspect. And then now that she's a possible suspect, we don't know what else we should be suspicious of because we let her get off quietly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I made a pre-record about 8 minutes long, just basically explaining the immunity and the fifth. All of that is basically saying that Kelsey gets to get away with it. That's what it means. That's what it means. That's what the fifth is. In this scenario, the fifth doesn't. Okay, somebody could be pleading the fifth because they had involvement in the crime. They were involved in it, but they were never accused of it. They weren't charged. Nobody ever said they did it. So, nah, y'all ain't about to arrest me for something that nobody saw me do, accuse me of doing, or nothing like that. That's what the fifth is for. I'll give my testimony, but I got to stop it short on this stuff that y'all don't know that I did, that I'm not going to incriminate myself by telling y'all that I did it. So by them, by them letting her plead the fifth, or granting some, immunity with some stipulations or whatever, that they're basically saying, and I hate it when I put it. I hated that I put it like this, but it ended up playing out like this. It was almost like they were basically saying, "You good? We won't Tory or nothing at all. So it don't matter what you kind of say that you did. It don't matter what this eyewitness is saying that he saw. None of this really matters. You not on trial. Tory is on trial. We either getting him or we getting nothing." So it was basically that. It was basically a situation where she was just able to get it. She was basically just allowed to get away with it. It's just that simple. She was allowed to get away with it. And I go back to what's in the thumbnail. The same person that the eyewitness said was fighting the victim and then went into the car and reached for something, and there was a muzzle flash, a gunshot flash coming from the hand of this woman that was fighting the victim. That same person also pled the fifth to not incriminate herself of what? Of the shit that the eyewitness saw. Could there be other details? Yeah. But for me, it's an open shut case on that one. It's an open shut not guilty for Tory on that one. And now let's do a separate investigation on this Kelsey chick, if we can do it without violating whatever little immunity we supposedly gave her. That's where I've been at with this from the start. That's what I've been at with the start. Now it looked like we got somebody in the chat room, Gussie Keep 100, saying they both fired a gun. All right. Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. Hold on. What's people? The eyewitness also said the short man shot 4 to 5 times. Yes, that part is true. Based off what he said, he said the woman. No, this is what he said. I think this is how what do you call him? Tommy Gupta. I forgot his name. The lawyers for workers dude.
Yeah, we've been calling him Timmy. Yeah, his name
The
is
lawyers
Mo
for the lawyers
Gonjad or
for
something
workers
like that.
dude, and that one chick with the titties. I don't know her name either, but the one chick with the titties who be reporting on it. They both basically said that it was said in the courtroom that when the two chicks was fighting in the car or outside the car, they said basically the guy said the big dude that was involved came and violently ripped him apart or tore him apart. After he did that, he said one of the women went to the car and then came back and he saw a flash come from her hand. All right. Then, in conjunction with all that, an all-out, battle royal, or he said basically all four people was involved in it. And in the midst of all of that, the little man, that's Tory, got the gun and he said fired it in the air about 4 times. So that's where Tory was dumb, shooting that shot in the air. Because even if they didn't get him guilty on all charges, they could have, an unlawful discharge of a weapon or something. They could have got him for something on that. He would have did some time or at least some probation, some kind of smack on the wrist, something for shooting that gun in the air. So yes. One person
did they prove who brought the gun? Who even brought the gun? They think about this now. There's a gun in play. You have to kind of pursue what do you call it? Chain of custody, I guess is the word for it. But are you saying Tory brought the gun? And if he didn't bring the gun, where did the gun come from? You see all these questions that the prosecution just doesn't want to answer.
Yeah, whoever was saying Tory should have taken a stand in retrospect, yeah, and right now, no, it would have been perfect. And this is Monday morning quarterback and after the fact, and I bet the defense is thinking this. If we would have put Tory on the stand and let Tory explain exactly what happened, and then the next day later, 2 days later, this witness who did not hear Tory's take on it would have came in and explained what happened, and it would have matched what Tory said, that would have been a kill shot. But in this case, who the hell knows?
Well, I think they were worried about getting killed on a cross-examination as far as character stuff, because he's got all kind of bad character stuff going on in the background. So
yep. That's why they didn't do it. But that's why I say it's Monday morning quarterback. At hindsight is 2020. That's why. But no. But they did say that Tory shot that gun in the air. They did say that. Now think about that. Let's look at it like this. What if the eyewitness would have said, "I saw the tall woman with the hooves and the short man," because this is how he was describing them. If he would have said the tall woman with the hooves and the short man was fighting in the car and outside the car, and the big man broke them up, and the little man went to the car, and I saw a shot, muzzle flash or whatever, come from his hand. And then they all were fighting, and like somebody's pointing out in the chat, they were technically had to be a tussle of the gun because Kelsey had it. If Kelsey fired a shot and then Tory fired a shot, then Tory would have had to take a gun from her. But either way, go follow my story. Short man and tall woman with the hooves fighting inside the car, outside the car. They outside the car. The big man come break them up. The little man go to the car. He grabbed the gun. He grabbed something out the car. You see a muzzle flash come from his hand. You see more fighting and tussling, everybody scrapping, and then one of the women get a hold of the gun and shoots it in the air. Everybody would instantly say, "Oh shit!" Like even I would step back and say, "Oh shit!" Tory was fighting Meg, and then he was seen firing a gun. Oh yeah, he shot her in the foot, and then Kelsey somehow got the gun and shot it in the air to try to break it up. That I would say that, and I would be like, "Hey, he deserved whatever he get." Whatever it is, what it is. The law is the law. You shot somebody, you got to go. It is what it is. That's what everybody would unanimously say. So I don't know how everybody can't unanimously say that in this situation, with Kelsey being the one fighting I'll call her the victim. No, you don't like her being called a victim, but Kelsey fighting the victim in a fist fight with the victim, and then seen going to the car and coming back and shooting a gun. And then the only time that Tory got the gun is when it was all out battle royal and everybody fighting and he shot it in the air. Clearly, the person who shot a gun in the air in the midst of a fight was simply trying to stop the fight. Everybody would look at it like that. And so it's crazy. Like the not guilty on this is crazy.
And listen, for some reason, right? You have DNA from Tory that you could test, and it's inconclusive whether his DNA is on the gun. You don't have his DNA on the magazine, which would further prove ownership of the gun, right? Because, if it's your gun, you load it, you handle it, all that. So if your DNA is like inside the gun, which is the magazine, then they could further prove ownership with that. But they don't have his DNA on the magazine. His DNA being on the gun, period, on the outside of the gun is inconclusive. So from there, we can establish they tested him thoroughly in that field, right? They also tested another woman, Kelsey, for gunshot residue. So we know that she actually had residue on her, but they did not pursue a DNA test with the gun like they did for Tory. Why would you not do that? It's a simple matter of procedure. Why would you not? Because again, it is obvious that she is at least a suspect, but you don't even go down that road. This is what I'm saying. Like there's so many things about this where it's like, all right, you just don't want to believe anything other than he had to shoot her.
Yeah. Where we at? Carter Water, Mike Vince Perkins. He says we got Studio Mansion. Says remember what happened. Remember who celebrated. Yeah. Yeah. What Quill in the building says from twerking on KS grave to twerking on Tory's verdict, 2022 was basically an ad for black men to become passport bros. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Tawana sent her last $2, and I don't even mean that playing the song. I think she seriously just got $2. But anyway, says, but all the evidence says he did it. Yeah. What evidence? It's literally no evidence. It's literally no evidence saying he did it other than Meg just saying he did it.
There was somebody said something in the chat a second ago. Now I can't find it, but I was thinking something along these lines. If the way this looks, bro, Meg got to be blackballed. Like, imagine being a male rapper standing next to Meg Thee Stallion. Like, it's sort of like, you know how the Mike Pence rule, where Mike Pence is like, listen, I'll never be seen alone with a female of any sort. Like, I'm always gonna have to be, it's me and my wife, me and some other female staffers, like a group of people or something. I can never be alone with a woman because I don't want to take the chance. Like, the way this is looking right now, from the male versus female perspective, like, as a rapper, bro, I just wouldn't even want to work with her because anything happened when we working together and I'm going to go to jail. Like, anything, if a dog gets hit crossing the street while we're standing outside on the corner, I might go to jail. So, like, I don't want to work with you. Like, and that's the thing. Nobody in the industry, I bet you none of the men in the industry who feel some type of way about this can even take a stand. But that's kind of what needs to happen because, like, bro, how could you even work with her if you really, like, think this is okay? If you think this is wrong, then that means you can't work with her, right? But if you don't have if you're not willing to go up against the machine, what do? You just got to quietly tuck your tail. Like, this is a weird moment if you think about it. Like, you kind of putting male rap in a certain spot. That's why I keep saying, like, listen, bro, y'all gonna regret the day y'all ever let these bitches on the mic.
Yeah. Man. Malcolm JC in the building says, like, crouton in a salad, he gonna get tossed. He's referring to there's a lot of memes about Tory being a small guy and getting locked up. Yeah. Tomcat in the building with $5 super chat says, you get back verbally on or show any counter aggression towards a B-dub and you're on trial as a homicidal maniac. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. The standard RLC in the building says this celebration of the verdict is reminiscent of how they celebrated KS death. Absolutely. Deanie says it's a death blow to the unprotected narrative. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Dame C in the building says the DA said they would bring up his rap lyrics. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they was going to get messy and bring up his rap lyrics and his past and his history and all kind of stuff. They was going to do that. I'm behind on that. Well, he says, how many times was the gun fired? I don't know how many times. I can't remember how many times they said that a woman fired it, but I do know that it was shot a few times in the air. They initially said in the air. And then it was, and I think the prosecution was trying to change it. So when he shot it, he was shooting it like this. But the guy it was initially said, the guy was said he just shot it violently in the air. We know what it means to shoot in the air. And shooting in the air don't mean it don't mean this. They was trying to based off how the people that was in the courtroom was describing what the prosecution did, they tried to make it seem like he was doing, he did something that could have slung a bullet at the ground. But no, we know what shooting in the air is. And we know why people shoot in the air. People shoot in the air to break up something. Typically, if somebody is fighting somebody and they go and grab a weapon, they grab that weapon to shoot that person, not to just break up something. So yeah, to me that's open shut. I don't know if you got anything else that you want to play on this one, or I could possibly open this thing up. I'm just scanning to see if anybody else.
Nah, I'm disappointed that we don't have any big mouth women who want to defend this whole miscarriage of justice. Like, come on, ladies, let your voice be heard. This is the one time we want to hear you yell and scream. Well, don't yell and scream, but I understand. But this is the one time where we asking you to come up there and speak your piece.
Yeah. Seven women jurors. That played a part, but if the men wouldn't, I just wonder what was going through the thought process of the men. I don't know.
Well, that's why I said this is California, bro. Like, I'm telling you, you're probably not gonna get a lot of red pilled. I see what's going on with men, kind of male jurors in there. Like, it's probably not. And then I'm wondering, what county exactly was this? Was this in San Francisco County? Like is this around in Los Angeles? I'm just curious now. And then I've been looking this up, and I haven't had a lock on the answer yet. But who is the lead prosecutor here? Who is the district attorney that is actually in the court handling the case? Because I'm hearing rumors it's a B-Dub, but I want confirmation.
Yeah, that's interesting. But all right, folks. There's the link in the chat. Anybody else want to get a piece of this? But to create your muse, what you're saying right there. Yeah, it was 7. That's my understanding of it. 7 female jurors and 5 male jurors. But excuse me. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. He says, "Were the jurors white or a variety? I have no idea the race of the jurors." He said, "I heard it was 7." To 6 female jurors, it was 7. The scary part is the jurors that are part of the woke culture. Yep. And that's why I don't listen. There's been some criticisms, and you faced this criticism. You've been called a culture warrior, and I fully embrace that term. A culture war, where it's basically it's intellectual discourse, a rhetorical war of words. Yeah, whoever is winning those battles, so to speak, whoever is influencing more minds and stirring the pot of the culture more, it increases the probability that in a situation like that we will have at least, out of a 12-member jury, we might have at least one hood conservative on there. Just one. That's all. Just one to give a hung jury. That's it. Just one to at least make them. If everybody else came back and said guilty, just one person to say, "No, y'all crazy as hell," and then they got to throw it out, scrap it, start over.
I would call that a win. That is how you win the battle. Actually, little battles is how you win the big war.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why when people, try to make that whole argument that y'all ain't, y'all ain't getting no laws changed as if okay. I can't stand that one. If somebody is effective at building a media platform and getting the views, thoughts, ideas, perspectives out there, that's their role in the battle. It's the people who actually do that lobbying work and all that intricate work to get the laws done and change behind the scenes. Well, yes. They're going to need votes. They're going to need an army of people that's going to vote at some point. That's where the people who stir the pot of the culture through media platforms, that's where they come in. That's how I look. That's where I view our job as, but some people like to gaslight, media platforms and say, oh, well, you're not a politician, are you? Well, just shut up then. I can't stand them Negroes. Can't stand them Negroes. But Chris Hutchinson in the building says, best thing we could do is respect the verdict also. No. When you plead the fifth, I believe the jury has to behave, I believe the question was never asked. No. At least that ain't how I understand it. If she pled the fifth, that doesn't mean that, okay, her pleading the fifth only means that they can't, she doesn't have to answer that particular question. It just means she doesn't have to answer that particular question, here's the thing. They asked her who did it, and she said it wasn't Tory. When they asked, well, what happened? I'm not telling you what happened. That's the only thing they got to pretend never happened. That she just said, I'm not telling you what happened.
Listen. Pleading the fifth, by definition, is a mark against your what do you call it? Like your believability as a witness. I forget the actual term for it, but it's a mark against your
Christian. You brought out all the Meg deserves justice niggas.
Good. We got to, because y'all a weird bunch too. But anyway, just by pleading the fifth, your credibility is out the window, basically. Not out the window, but it's a question on your credibility just by pleading the fifth, because the full proper phrase is, I plead the fifth on the grounds that I may incriminate myself. That is literally what you're blocking off. So you are, by definition, throwing your credibility in the question by taking the fifth. The jury has every right to consider that.
But here's the thing, before I go to keep it 100, here's the thing. If there's an incident where there's 3 people involved, there's a victim who was shot, there was a man on trial for being shot, and then there's a third person, and they say, what happened? Did he shoot her? No, he didn't shoot her. Okay, what happened? I can't tell you what happened because I fear that I may possibly incriminate myself.
Right.
It's almost like a simple math problem, like a dot to dot with like 3 dots in it. And really with just 2 dots. You just draw a straight line and put your name on the paper and then you're done. You hand it in. It's like, it's so obvious that she's saying, I did it, but I didn't do it. And then wink, like, so it's to me, it's obvious that she's doing that. So even if the jury got to pretend like she didn't basically self-snitch by pleading the fifth, they can still take her word that Tory didn't do it, because she said he didn't do it. And then the eyewitness came and explained what happened. That it's crazy, but go ahead, keep it 100.
Okay, let's start here. The 2 girls were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. The 2 girls were fighting. Okay, so for all the the crowd in the chat right now that's hearing me talk, the 2 women were fighting. Okay, Tory didn't have a beef with anybody to be shooting at anybody. The motive sat with the 2 women.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start there. As far as pleading the fifth, meaning that you have to strike the question from the record, that's incorrect, Deanie. Okay,
so it
just
Christian
means you just don't.
Deanie and Christian, go ahead.
Yeah, you just don't. As Deanie said, yeah, that's correct. But you don't strike that from the record. It's part of the record. But pleading the fifth just means you can't testify against yourself, not another person. That's all it means. I'm closely watching this YSL thing. I just did a video on the whole 88-page indictment that they had on them. That's all it means, is that you can't incriminate yourself. You can incriminate something. If they ask you a question about what someone else did, you have to answer that question. So if they ask her, did Tory shoot? She got to answer that question. Did you do it? She doesn't have to answer that question. Now, she said it wasn't her, right? She did say it wasn't her, but she also says, oh, I didn't see him do it, right? But let's look at the, like we was talking about, you said straight line, DNA. Okay, inconclusive. His prints were inconclusive, so was hers. So that means more than one person handled that gun. Mm-hmm. The gun was fired, from what I understand, a total of 5 times. So he couldn't have shot all 5 times. Mm-hmm. Okay, unless somebody's going to, from what I understand, a total of 5 times, unless somebody's going to show me something where I'm incorrect, a total of 5 times. Megan on multiple platforms said the reason she got hit in the back of the foot because she was walking away when the gun was going off, so she could see behind herself. She got eyes in the back of her head. So if 2 people handled that gun, she heard gunshots. If she was indeed walking away when she got hit, she didn't see who shot her. She didn't see it. She didn't see who shot her. These women need Tory to be guilty, bro. They need him to be guilty because it fits the narrative. Okay, that's what she said. I can pull it up on the internet. She said her back was turned. She said that. Then she said that she lied to the doctor that she stepped on glass. So you lied to a medical professional that the so-called metal he was pulling out your foot wasn't metal, it was glass. How you do that? That's incredible.
Hey, 100, real quick. I need to ask you this. Where did they go? What happened immediately after the shooting? That's kind of a thing that I'm hazy on, because it seemed like they all tried to drive away together. That's kind of like unclear for me. So do you understand what happened right after the shooting?
I don't know if they went away from the scene. I mean, I don't like that video that we all saw of her doing the perp walk and everything with blood coming from her foot. Like, I don't know if that's where the shooting occurred or if they moved from that place. I mean, I couldn't tell you.
Well, if they're getting pulled out of the car, it seems like they would have had to all get back in the car and then drive at least a little bit to get pulled over.
No. They did get pulled over. They did get pulled over. And the way I understood it, the way the eyewitness described it, and this was one of the most bizarre things that happened. Because he said it was, from his perspective, it looked like an all-out battle royal between 4 people, everybody fighting everybody. But he said at one point it all did converge on one woman, where one woman would basically like I don't know if it was Meg or Kelsey, but it was one woman that it looked like everybody like beat the shit out of her and then picked her up and put her in the car, and then they all drove off together.
So I wanna make sure this gets said. Understand this, right? Nobody's saying that the man didn't fire. Mm-hmm. This is a reasonable doubt case because a lot of the proof, a lot of the evidence that we have leads us to believe that someone else may have fired that weapon. Mm-hmm. Right? So you can't say it is conclusive that only he handled and fired the weapon. There's too much proof of otherwise. Right? So again, it's like Hood Conservative said earlier, they were only invested in the narrative that Tory shot the gun. And that's why they only investigated that part of it, because they were invested in that, that outcome. And they were so invested that they ignored all this DNA and the eyewitness, and they ignored all of that. Right? Just like these women today are in the chat ignoring all of that right now. They ignored all of that because they need a certain outcome. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna be talking about this now. I'm not gonna stay on long. But, again, with all, like I said, inconclusive DNA, gunpowder on her hands, eyewitness saying that he saw her fire. I mean, what else do you need to say that Tory was not the only person to handle and fire a gun that night. What else do you need? You need bias. You need bias. That's what you need.
Yeah. Like that's more than enough reasonable doubt. More than enough. But all right, go ahead, Deanie. You got the floor. You got the mic. What's up? What's on your mind?
Yeah. So I'm looking at this from a different perspective because a lot of you guys have the same things. It's kind of repetitive, but this wasn't really Megan versus Tory Lanez. This was literally the district attorney versus Tory Lanez. So let's get that clear. Meg didn't bring these charges against Tory, right? She was forced to come out and testify because the DA brought these charges against Tory. So that's number one. Number two. Do
you think she said the accurate person shot her?
No, she lied. I mean, she's been lying. Like this.
Right, then why even? Why saying this ain't Meg against Tory?
She got shot, so that's where I think she clearly got shot. Like she clearly got injured.
But I don't understand why say it's not Meg against Tory. If somebody got shot by somebody who's not me, I mean, if somebody got shot and it wasn't me that shot him, but they say I shot him, then yes, they are against me, and I'm against them. Like, what do you mean? Like, why even?
But who brought the charges against Tory, Bernard? Sorry, I got a cold. But who brought the charges against Tory? Who did it?
Okay,
can you say it?
No, I just found out this information. I figured because she initially did say she stepped on glass. Mm-hmm. She was hoping it all could get swept under the rug. But then when, obviously if somebody called the police, the shots fired, they finding shells and casings and all kind of stuff like that, then, okay, a crime was committed and somebody got to go down for it. Now she has to say, she has to name an assailant.
Yes.
And she lied and named the wrong assailant.
Yeah.
So the minutia of whether or not her hand was forced,
that's not minutia. You can't say that's minutia.
That's
because and this is where you could kind of get.
She lied to put a black man in a hot seat. Don't take no heat away from her. Don't take no heat away from her. Like, damn,
right?
What are you doing?
She lied to put a black man in the hot seat.
She lied, and by her lie, put a black man in the hot seat. Who the majority of the evidence is showing that he didn't do it. Why even try to throw it up the line? Well, this was the district DA of California prosecution department.
So the facts don't matter. I got it. Facts don't matter.
The fact that she lied and said that a black man did it and he didn't do it.
Those are not the facts of the incident. You're kind of mentioning.
This is a deflection.
I'm literally saying what happened.
No. What happened is what happened that night. Who's going at him on paper is apart from that. You're correlating those two things together. No,
okay.
Sir.
We'll agree to disagree on that one. But I wanted to make that clear because a lot of things that are swirling around, it's people are under the impression that Meg brought these charges against Tory. So that's why I wanted to clarify that. The next thing is this whole narrative that they were pushing, protect black women. I think this case is a great example to explode all of that myth. And it's a perfect example to explode all of that myth because not only did she get the system, and I don't call me a hotep now, okay? But not okay. I want to try to figure out how to word this so you guys don't.
I'm leaning more towards, man. I'm more towards criticizing the system than before. I used to be hard on black folks and culture and all of that. I've been looking at the system a little more lately, even though
it's a numbers game.
Even though niggas still be on some bullshit. But go ahead and take your shots at the system. Go ahead.
So this is all a numbers game, right? They saw an opportunity to get a notch on their belt, and Tory, sorry, he fit the profile. You've heard that term, right? Fit the profile. So this is just another one of those situations where, sorry, brother, you had a whole bunch leaning against you, not necessarily Rock Nation, but you had the state of California and that entire judicial system leaning against you. So black man, black boogeyman, sorry, you're just gonna you gotta own that. So the way how I look at this is, okay, all this stuff that they're spewing about protect black women, from this day forward, you got to completely dead that narrative. Okay, there's so many examples of black women.
You was just trying to protect the black woman 5 minutes ago.
I'm not. See, this is the difference between me and you, or a lot of you guys. I try to be consistent with the logic. Meg didn't bring the case. This is
it doesn't matter though.
That right there. Can I challenge you on that issue really quickly though?
I'm not. Let me just say this real quick, Hood. I'm not saying you're incorrect. I'm saying it's irrelevant.
Okay. It's actually not irrelevant though, because she went out there saying he did it.
That was the next thing out of my mouth.
Right. It's not just that the state picks up the case, which the state is likely to do. And that's a scenario where like she has legit fear of her assailant, right? So you're in an abusive relationship, or you got beef with the mob or something crazy like that. Then the state may pick up the case on your behalf. That's kind of why that thing even happens.
Right.
But she went out there saying he did it flat out, and she has no reason to be like, oh well, he's gonna get me. Like there's nothing like that going on. So she could easily take the stand, and I think she did take the stand actually. So to say that she isn't bringing the case, kind of, it's like it's a difference without a distinction.
These are not sophisticated individuals. This is Negro shit that basically blew up in a lot of people's. I'm telling you what this is Negro shit that blew up in people's faces. I don't think Meg realized what she was doing by going all over social media saying, "You shot me," all this stuff. I don't think. Listen, Kelsey was in the court saying, "I please the fourth." These are not sophisticated individuals.
That's wild.
But Meg continued to push this narrative all this time. All this time, push it real hard, and she was the only one really allowed to speak while this man was gagged.
Do hoes lie?
No, it's not just that hoes lie. It's not just that hoes lie. She was a lying hoe who became the face of Protect Black Women.
Yes,
that is a giant. That the gravity of that is
she chose, and she chose.
Right. And she didn't just choose it. People chose it for her too. Like this is big media thing coming together. It's like a giant conglomerate of ugly just coming together to put dude in jail right now. Is wild when you think about it. All the pieces Dini, that had to move.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Dini, you say she didn't know what she was doing. She was going around saying this. Like, what were you saying? You said she didn't know what she was doing.
I don't think she expected the district attorney to bring charges against Tory.
Come on.
So she didn't know what she was doing. Did she know what she was? Did she know what she was doing when she did this shit right here?
Listen, look at how they're dressed. I'm not going to say.
Did she know what she was doing when at the Protect Black Women concert at the VMAs?
Right.
No, I don't think so. This thing, I gotta be honest. This whole thing looks so ridiculous to me. Like it looks so.
You're speaking as if this isn't a part of her prosecution.
Come on, man.
Well, that's fair.
This is the prosecution right here.
Whatever's behind
the prosecution began way before the trial. This is what I'm saying. Like this is all these things had to come together to paint this image to where even if you are one of those men in the jury pool who says, I don't think he did it, they're going to come at you, bro. Imagine being, think about it like this, just to put it in context. Imagine being the one guy in the George Floyd trial who says, you know what? I think the cop didn't do it. Imagine being that one guy.
Right. In the room, yeah.
I hear you. And to your point, if you're saying like there's a machine that was already in motion, I would agree with you because there was a lot of stuff that was happening that was peculiar. She even got on like a TV show. She even did some publicity stunt with Hillary Clinton. So there was clearly a machine attached to it, but I just don't think that Megan
all
was
of that was her being able to work the
They
jury.
marketed, yeah.
That was her being able to work the jury before the jury was even selected.
Right.
Meanwhile, Tory wasn't allowed to speak.
Right.
Well, look, I will say this about Tory during that time. During that time, you got to go to church every Sunday. You got to play. You got to organize midnight basketball for all the little niggas in the hood. You got to give away turkeys. You can't be caught doing anything. Hey, listen, I'm gonna be outside. I'm gonna have a baby and change my diapers in public just so y'all can see me changing the diapers in public. Like, I'm gonna be a whole new nigga between now and the trial. Tory fucked up on that level.
It wouldn't help.
It wouldn't, but it's better than what he did, because like he's out. There's a music video where I was laughing at the shit he was trolling. He was like playing a butcher, where like it looked like he was cutting up a horse's leg or something wild like that. It's like, bro, come on, bro.
The meat that he was cutting didn't really look like could have been a horse's leg, but you couldn't really tell. But off to the side, where all the other uncut meat or meat that was about to be cut, it was a horse's leg over there. So I mean,
Tory to me is not a sympathetic figure. So I'm not. No, I was never.
I mean, well, okay, hold on. Well, go ahead. I'll let you make your point. Go ahead.
Well, I was never. I always left wiggle room because I would never put anything past the Pookie. I'm sorry. Like, this might sound unpopular, but I will never put anything past people living degeneracy, living.
That's fair.
Lifestyle.
But he made several statements on Meg's behalf during this thing, man. He appealed to her in that time, man. I wish I could pull up the quote, but
he's out there punching gay dudes in the face because they wouldn't dap him up, or getting into fights with artists. Like he's just
dude he punched in the face.
August Alsina. You ain't see that clip? August got a boyfriend, bro. Yo, that shit crazy as hell.
I didn't. Hold on.
He's got this little man thing.
Wait a minute. Those two stories aren't connected. Like, August,
no, it's not. But
okay,
why this nigga got a boyfriend?
Hold on. At the time that he punched August Alsina was just known for smashing Will Smith's wife. So it ain't like he just going around bullying random gay dudes. Like,
right.
Kind of smuggled that.
That wasn't out.
Well, no. He's now like, what's the word for it? He gets to be like gay retroactively. Because like, even though that happened, that happened later,
he gave him a retroactive hate crime against a gay.
Right. That's exactly how that looks, bro. It's crazy though, but that was a whole nonsense.
I mean, but let me ask this though: why are we only looking at Tory's past? What about Meg's past? Meg has DV on the record.
Yeah,
she has DV on the record. She brags about fighting dudes. So we ain't talking about that. You know, we doing the whole Rudolph Giuliani. Let's pull his whole file out, and to see what kind of guy he is. But she's a violent person now. Let's talk about. Okay, he's 5'3". We joke about that. She's 5'10". I'd shoot her if I'm 5'3". Straight up.
I'm 6'2" and I might shoot her. Fuck.
I don't identify with any of these individuals. This is like I said, Negro shit that just blew up. Like I just don't.
I mean, going to that aspect of it, and like, okay, when you said Tory, he's not some sympathetic figure. It's not. I mean, yeah, he's not the ideal model citizen type of black man we should all aspire to be. Like, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. But still, regardless of all that, even though I personally can't identify with Tory, I can't even name none of his songs. I don't give. Prior to this, I didn't care. But the fact of the matter is, I can, as a black man, see a black man accused of some stuff that it looked like he didn't do. Then the evidence came out that he clearly didn't do it. I could look past all their ratchetry and also see how she trying to work her narrative from the very beginning to get dude marketing to get him locked up. And I'm like, nah, this ain't cool. This ain't right. So
she had no idea that her protect black women marketing scheme would bring charges on him for a shooting. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Listen, this whole protect.
I never thought this would work. The fuck?
I've seen me on this show when it comes to some Pookie who trying to fight for his freedom and resisting arrest, trying to fight for his freedom in an MMA wrestling match in the street with the police. It's like some of them be on some ignorant shit where they ain't getting no cape or no support from me. Y'all out here clowning, but stuff like this, like, nah, this this ain't cool. This ain't cool.
But see, this is where, like, and, you know, years ago there was the whole educated lame versus Pookie thing, and it was interesting. There were points to be made at the time, but in the big picture, I never really cared too much about that battle because I think it's bigger than that. I think it's really a men issue broadly, because take all the Pookie stuff aside, right? Just a man and a woman in a situation, and we always kind of just naturally are inclined to side with the women in these things. And what you come away with is, no matter whether you're a Pookie or a good dude or whatever, you're always in the wrong. And that's kind of the weight of it for me. It doesn't matter that he had a bad past. You know, everybody in this scenario is fucked up. All right. So that's a wash. Right. So now we're back to just a man and a woman, and she pointed a finger at him, and now he has to be punished. That's kind of the reality for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For me, this verdict is political as hell. You understand what I'm saying? But you know, he should have kicked it with Kylie. At the end of the day, he should have never walked out of there. He should have stayed with the white girl.
Bro, see, and look, we haven't even brought that part of it up, man. This is a win for SYSBM. That's really who won here, quietly, without even, you know, don't celebrate, don't pound your chest, but like, listen, if he'd have stayed with the white girl, he wouldn't have had no problems that night. We can all attest to that.
Sorry, sir. There will be chest pounding tonight.
This should not. This should. But you see, the same.
Go
the
for
same
it.
way,
I'm listening.
The same way how
Saturday
you
Night
have,
Live, baby.
the same way how you have women trying to use this to extrapolate. Hood, I think Hood Silver was joking. Maybe he wasn't, but like to use this to extrapolate a reason for SYSBM, like this is ridiculous. This is Negro shit run amok, and I just don't associate with it. Like I don't take it any bigger than that.
No, brother. No. Even Pookie has a reason to save himself.
Right.
Yeah, it is some irony in there that that the SYSBM brothers probably it's in bounds for them to go ahead and just bare minimum exploit the irony that he would have been safer in the arms of that white girl in the swimming pool.
She came. They left. Let's remember. They left him there and came back and she saw him kicking it with the white girl.
Yeah.
And then he got up and left with them. He should have stayed his ass right.
But didn't Bernard just do a video? Imagine if she's white.
You're safer with a Kardashian. Who'd have thought it?
No, listen. Let's ask this question: would this whole thing, would this have even went down the same way if he was just at the party with a random black group? But you up here with this high-powered white woman.
His mistake was he left with them because they had her leave the party drunk. She was in there wilding crazy, wig was falling off. They left.
This guy has a pattern of violence. He's got a pattern of violence.
Okay, the women have patterns. See, we just addressed that they're all violent. So again, why is his violence only important? And he wasn't mad that night. Let me ask you a question, sir. What reason did he have to attack any of the two women that night? What was his motive?
I can't get into the mind of those individuals.
No, but we know the story. But we do know why the girls would fight. We know that, right? Without getting into the mind of the individuals, we know the motive between the two women's disagreement. Yes. And we have a witness saying that they did physically fight, right?
Yeah.
So what else is there? What there was no reason for him to be mad to pull a gun on anybody.
Listen, I can't. Yeah,
it's just a question, man.
In the logic, in the average black man, I would agree with you. But Tory Lanez, I don't look as the average black.
Oh, because he's Godzilla.
Well, not even just that. No, but the average Pookie doesn't even go around beating up nor shooting his girl. Like the average Pookie takes a lot of shit. So the idea that he's a violent, he beat up August. Yeah, men beat each other up all the time. Those same men don't necessarily turn around and hit a woman with the same impulse. So like I don't buy the argument that just because he's violent towards men that he would all of a sudden just get mad at a woman because she insulted his music and then shoot her. Like, that's a giant leap, bro.
If Bernard was in that situation, I would look at Bernard's, background, like how, just everything. I'll take the total package. I'll say, I have some serious doubt here. But when it comes to Tory Lanez, I'm sorry, I can't go there with you,
bro.
with y'all.
Bro, you're talking about Tory Lanez as if he's Sean Poe. Like you making it sound like, my man just he's with two women and that he decided to leave the party with because they wanted him to leave. She ain't want to leave him with the white girl. So he felt obligated to leave the party because of her feelings. So somewhere in the middle of that, he decides to pull out a 9mm and start busting shots just randomly because he Pookie.
And then, there's something else here that it's like, I'm going to blame the victim in a little bit, so to speak. You guys don't have to follow me here, but just for a minute, I'm going to blame the victim because why is it that listen, if I'm a guy who's known for starting trouble when I get drunk, and then I wind up getting my ass whipped, or I even get shot up one night after starting trouble when I'm drunk, nobody's going to look at me sympathetically because they know I'm an asshole. That's what happens to me every now and then. But because it's a woman, we don't even hold her accountable for starting this whole thing in the first place. Like, you get off the hook. Now you become the victim, even though this whole thing is apparently your fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You were the one twisted at the party. You were the one asked to leave. You were the one smashing your homegirl's dude. You were the one you got into an issue with your girl that night. See, we ain't talking about what happened on the 5th of April in 2014, bro. We talking about this night. On this night, the issue was between the two women. They were the ones with the issue. And Tory wasn't he was in the middle, so to speak, but he wasn't caping for one or the other. He was on to the white girl. He had moved on. So let me ask you, where was his anger? What was his violent motive? Oh, he's just violent, rawr, because he's a Pookie, rawr. And I'm not pro Pookie, bro, but I'm just saying, rawr, Pookie strikes. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm just not part of the Tory Lanez defense force.
No, that's not what's happening. No, don't do that. I'm asking.
No, hold on, wait. Time out. The only time somebody get the title defense force is if people are making irrational defense at all costs for an individual. I don't see that happening.
So I'm not going to present a defense for Tory Lanez. I'm just not.
No, what you're doing.
You don't have to. If you can just quote exactly what came out of the trial. Right. Like so that's why I don't understand. Well, he has a history of violence. Well, you act like we don't know any details. Like I put it like this: if we knew no details and was just shooting from the hip, then okay, his reputation or history of violence could probably come into the play. But we got the full backstory and motive between the two girls and why they got into it and why they got into a fight. And the eyewitness saw them fighting, and he saw one of the girls fire a shot, and he saw Tory get the gun from them and shoot in the air, like So it's
did Tory Lanez do nothing wrong to any of y'all? I'm just curious.
What the fuck? He's going to prison for 22 years, possibly, unless they.
No, I'm not talking about the outcome.
Let's go down that road. What did he do wrong that night? That is an argument to have because, like you said, Bernard, you brought this up, and this may be valid, and I gotta agree with you on this. He's shooting the gun in the air in that situation. Bad move, right? Yeah. But beyond that, I can't say that you did all these bad things that night. You tried to be the good guy, it seems like, by stopping all this dumb shit, and look what you did.
Right. He made some bad judgment calls. He didn't do anything wrong, and that's not the same thing, bro.
If they would, if one of the charges was
I need to know what Smile was about.
An unlawful firing of a gun or reckless firing of a gun, and he was found guilty of that, and the penalty for that is 2 years. I'd be like, damn, that's fucked up.
But Jonathan just said he didn't do that.
Hold on, you couldn't really fight with that because from a technical standpoint, you're breaking the law if you just shooting in the air. Now, I mean, people do that on New Year's all the time, but either way it go, you are breaking the law if you just shooting in the air. You're not supposed to do that. So if you're asking, did he do something wrong? Yeah, that was wrong. But that's
so your whole
guilty. He was found guilty of shooting somebody in the foot, but the evidence strongly suggests that he wasn't the one that did it. That's what we're talking about here.
So my question is, so your entire motive for him is he's a pookie?
No, my thing is I don't see that there should be a pity party or any type of like extrapolation going on for Tory Lanez. Like, this is Negro shit. This is on them. I don't see myself getting caught up in that situation.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you, was it a pity party? I asked you, what was his motive? We know the girl's motives. We know Meg's violent past. We know that she has a history of either getting drunk and violent or getting violent when she's upset. So let's put that into the air. And I'm gonna ask you again. He had no reason to be mad at anyone. He was actually obligated to leave because she felt hurt that he was in. I guess she felt like he was fucking around on her. So I'm asking you again. Outside of him being his pookie past or his pookie tales, because that seems to be your only motive for him busting a gun randomly that night. Is that your only motive? I'm asking.
I think you're misinterpreting where I'm coming from.
All right, I'm listening.
Lanez, what's that?
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Tory Lanez, like in this whole situation, he's not a sympathetic figure to me or anything like that, right? Like, whatever happened that night, he was in a bad place, bad timing, all that other stuff. The DA brought charges against him after Megan said, "You shot me," right? Everything beyond that, it's like he's got to battle it out on himself. I'm not going to create a defense saying, "Well, that's not likely," or that. I have no idea, and nor do I really extrapolate it to like be reflective of black men or anything like that.
I mean, we're having the conversation. We're here, so it's not all of that. But I mean, respectfully, you're not answering my question.
Do I think he shot her? No. That's
not what I asked. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, outside of him being a pookie, what else? What other motives does he have? You don't have to defend or have sympathy for him. I'm asking you.
He just said you don't think he shot her, so that you kind of answer the question differently. Why don't you think he shot her? Explain that, because now I'm kind of confused as to your position here. If you don't think he shot her,
all of that is almost immaterial. Like it's almost completely immaterial.
Motive is immaterial. Motive?
No, I'm talking about this whole case. Like, him being there and all that stuff, it's almost almost immaterial. Like, what my opinion is does not matter. You get me? Like, it does.
No, none of our opinions matter, but we're here on YouTube talking about it. So I'm gonna ask you again. Outside of him being a pookie, what was his motive?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not.
So you agree he didn't have one?
I can't.
You can't what? You can answer the question. We here, bro.
I just can't.
It's just us here, bro. It's just us.
I just can't really think of I just can't think of a motive for me personally. But again,
I can't think of one either. So we agree.
I'm not Tory Lanez. Like that's like
neither am I. I'm just, you don't have to be Tory Lanez to answer the question. I'm just asking you, dude. Right. I just asked you in your opinion, what was his motive? You don't have to be him, bro. Bro, you won't die from saying that he doesn't have a motive.
Yeah, like I said,
not a clear-cut one.
I don't see what reason like to shoot Megan in that situation.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
no further questions.
Yeah, I just don't. But the thing is, I'm not Tory Lanez, right? So
you don't have to be.
You're not Tory Lanez, and you also said you don't think he shot her. And I would like you to explain that a little bit more. Why are we even here when you just said if he was asking if you think he shot her, you say no, you don't think he shot her. What's going on here?
Well, I'm saying that this whole thing, this whole defend Tory thing is like, it's nonsense. Like I don't see what's the point of being in an uproar.
Defend a man who you agree did not do the crime that we all watched.
I'm not 100% saying. Listen, I'm not 100% like gonna back this guy. I'm just not. I always leave a little wiggle room.
You're defending Meg while at the same time saying she lied. I'm
I'm
confused
not
about
defending
that.
Meg.
You kind of
The
are.
first thing you did is came up and said, "Well, Meg didn't bring these charges."
She didn't. That's why I said. That's why I said this whole situation blows up the whole protect black women narrative. You literally had someone come in and white knight to protect, to bring these charges towards Tory.
Hey,
like,
Bernard, if this was my show, this would be the point where you would light your cigar and you start smoking.
Yeah, bro. You in a nice little tight box right now, bro.
I just don't put up a defense for this guy. I'm not gonna go all in defending this guy.
But that's not what we're doing. We right now what we're doing is we're discussing the facts, right? So we're simply just asking you, what would be the motive? So it's a fair question. You could give a fair answer, right? It's just so then you're open to ask us questions for against them. So you can ask us anything. We'll answer those questions. Yeah, does he have a violent past? Yes, but they all do.
And you know what? You got to understand too, as far as like defending Tory, if there was a better case, if there was more evidence, if there was a better narrative that we could understand, okay, yeah, well, yeah, he just fucked up. Wow, we would be all talking about Tory bad now. We'd be like, boy, wilding, like, what the hell? Like, you can't just be doing that.
We have to, like, for instance, bro, I've been watching the YSL situation for some time now. I read the whole indictment. I have no defense for Young Thug and YSL. Zero. Not at all. No defense for them. No defense, bro.
So I'm not going to talk about the YSL, but with the Tory Lanez case, Kelsey came out and said and the sworn statement saying that she saw Tory shoot Meg, but then came back and undid, and then like this whole thing is just so muddy. Like that's why I just.
Well, didn't Meg recant some statements also?
Yeah,
okay, so they all
thing. Right. This whole thing is all murky. Like it's all muddy. Like
so then that's reasonable doubt.
Exactly. So in a case where all the let's say primary witnesses here, people who are actually on the scene involved with the incident, they are all uncredible now by their own behavior, their own admissions at different points. They have changed their story. They've changed their testimony, however you want to word it. They are essentially uncredible. Tory Lanez, by not testifying, he looks bad because of his own actions between the trial and the incident, but he hasn't damaged his credibility in open court the way they have.
Right.
Right. I mean, like I just keep going back to the only person that spoke. Well, I can't even remember if the hairdresser said anything relevant. But the only person who was there, who was impartial, who didn't throw any punches or fire any shots or have nothing to do with the situation, gave a testimony, and that testimony did not line up with what Meg originally said happened at all. So it's like the eyewitness, the impartial eyewitness, who's a foreigner, who I'm not even convinced that he the way that somebody who was in the courtroom, I can't remember if it was the Arab looking dude, Tommy Gupta, whatever we calling him, or the chick with the titties. I can't remember her name either. I forgot which one of them. They described him as a foreigner who seemed like he didn't really know that much about them. He was describing what the hell he saw. And he was just like, yeah, a big man, a little man, and two women was fighting, and some shots was fired. So it's like, when in doubt, just go with the eyewitness testimony when in doubt. And that eyewitness testimony don't line up with what Meg said. It actually sort of lined more up with what Kelsey was saying, up into the point to where she said, I can't say no more because I'll incriminate myself. He like picked up the rest of the story where Kelsey started incriminating herself. Like you just put those two stories together too. But Judge Zilla in the building, go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Bernard. Thanks for having me up here real quick. Gentlemen, conservative, keep it 100.
And by the way, everybody, I'm gonna get to the super chat. I see there's a lot of super chats. I starred all of them. RM not in the back keeping up with shit for me, but I starred all of them. I will get to them. But But go ahead, Josh. I mean, go ahead, Josh.
I forget I don't want to call him Van Jones, but
yeah,
I
he
forget
looked like
his name.
He looked like Van Jones, and I do believe they have very similar ideologies. But anyway,
ultimately, I don't think you guys are getting to the crux of the I think everybody's missing the main motivator of the jury's logic and conclusion and reasoning to come to where they came to. I mean, I don't think any of you guys realize just how much white people like horses.
I'm done.
I mean,
it's foul.
I mean, white people really they have this thing, they have all these equestrian type of things. They've got this thing called dressage where they start dancing. They dance with the horse. They're on top of the back of the horse and they are dancing. They are gigging. They popping it and everything. Like at polo events, like they rain dollars on them. Like they love horses.
Mm.
And when you're gonna go out there with when you're seeking testimony, when they put that peanut butter in her mouth and she started testifying. Look, I mean, like it was a lock from. She came up there. They put the peanut butter in her mouth. Right. She was wearing the horse's tail. I mean, I don't know what white person would not be able to show sympathy for her. When she just got, when she came into the courtroom and went up to, the witness stand. She sat down there, like it's my firm belief that the quote unquote bullet fragments are really nothing more than horseshoe nails. I think they've been misidentified from the beginning, personally. Now, on a more serious note, I mean, I just can't. I just can't see how y'all are not understand. Like, look, you see how they reacted with Michael Vick, right?
All right, man.
That was dogs, man. They love horses 10 times more than they love dogs.
This is a violence against animals case. I get it.
But
you don't stand a chance on the violence.
You made a great point there, Bernard. Before the last point you made before I came up here and started acting foolish. The one witness testimony, right, has him at least guilty of possession and negligent discharge, right?
Yeah.
That has him at least. Now, unfortunately, that part does coincide with, the peanut butter's testimony, the peanut butter in the mouse testimony. Right. So you have, again, here's the thing. Eyewitness testimony isn't as loctite as people give it credit for. So her story being off is nothing new, right? Kelsey, but in three testimonies, he has the firearm. He discharged the firearm. Now, is he responsible for right? We know that he's responsible from the testimony, at least from the testimony, right? Of two of them, he's responsible for the shots that go in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Is he responsible for the shots that ricochet off the pavement or the asphalt, and that lodge horseshoe nails within her hoof?
Right.
I don't know. I can't say that. But what we do have is corroborating testimony from three people that have him guilty of possession of the firearm and negligent discharge, right? And possession of a firearm that's not registered, that's illegal in California, right? So, like, there's no getting out of it. So for him to be found guilty of all of them, no.
Right.
But for him to get found guilty of at least 2 to 3 of those charges.
Does the circumstance, hold on real quick, does the circumstances matter in how you end up in possession of the firearm. Like put it like this, if somebody else grabbed a gun and they shot it at somebody and you took it from that person, well, I mean, you shooting it in the air. That does. I mean, you're gonna be guilty of that. But at the same time, it ain't like he just grabbed the unregistered firearm and just tucked it in his pants and walked around with it. But I guess the law don't really look at it like that. You had it in your possession.
I think. Wait a minute.
As you're walking down there, right, for him to fire it, he has to possess it. So
I think this is an interesting case from a legal standpoint. Let's just strip the case away and just use certain elements for a second. If let's say there are two people and one gun, and we both take turns shooting that gun at a third person, right? I shot the gun, you shot the gun. There's only one gun. You can technically, I guess, only charge one person with possession of the weapon, but can you now say like charge them with possession for each incident of the firing? Because we'll now get back to the case. If both people have evidence of possessing the gun, like it seems like you have at least grounds to charge both people with individual counts of possession.
Yes. Right. So, okay. So him having possession and being charged with negligent discharge, the negligent discharge does not mean that in this scenario, we're assuming Kelsey did the same thing, but she did it at Megan's feet. Right. So she would still like she could still be charged as well. Right. It's not an and or. It's not an either or. It's not an either. It's an and. Right. So both defendants, right, can be charged with those with the same charges in this event, right? And then, right, given the non-interested party, as Bernard mentioned, with the witness, his testimony, right? It was a situation that way. It's not just his to ride, but if they refuse to charge, look again, if the attorney general, if the prosecutor, if the attorney general refuses to go after, right, Kelsey, then
she wasn't a defendant,
and that's the inexplicable part about it, right? We have. And from our armchair position here, just armchair quarterbacking or whatever, but it seems like there's at least enough evidence to go down that avenue from an investigative standpoint, right?
Right.
You at least want to rule out other suspects.
But that doesn't alleviate that doesn't alleviate Tory Lanez guilt with the charges that are presented to him, with the exception of the shots that go close enough to Meg the Stallion to get horseshoe nails in her hoof.
But that's hold on. But see, no. Actually, it does change things because yes, we can all agree if we'll accept the testimony of him shooting in the air, fine. But once we now prove someone else had possession of and likely fired the gun as well, now the sequence of events all come into play. Because once you play that sequence of events out, you can sort of discount, all right, if he fired it in the air, it's essentially impossible for her to have a foot shot. Like, you don't shoot in the air and a woman gets shot in the foot. That is a magical fucking bullet. So when you start to prove, okay, so she had the gun at a certain point, like when did she have the gun? After he fired in the air or before? Like, all these things now start to change the whole narrative of the other more significant charges.
Right. That you're right. You're absolutely right in the sense of her foot shot. Right. Her foot shot. It's not conclusive. But again, 3 charges are on the table here. 2 of them he has. And,
but it's not a possession case, bro.
And there are 3 witness testimonies. And none of them are his.
But this again, no. That one guy, he was the defense witness.
No. None of them are his testimony. He didn't get on the stand.
Well, again, that's the point I made
Oh,
earlier,
okay.
though, Judge. Even without him getting on the stand, his credibility remains unchanged. Where they got on the stand and changed their stories. That's kind of a problem in my opinion. This is why it's not about per se if he did or didn't do it. Just on the grounds of reasonable doubt. Like this case is fucked, bro.
Right.
Well, I reasonable. Okay, like the reasonable doubt that you're alluding to, I believe, conservative, is those are for capital cases, right?
No. What? No.
No. In a jury trial, you have reason to believe he didn't do it. Like it's not.
Right.
I don't know why you say capital case. Explain this.
No.
But the level. Okay, the level of reasonable doubt that you're applying to this case is the level of reasonable doubt, right? Beyond the shadow of a doubt of somebody committing either homicide or sexual assault. Right?
No,
like there's a standard of reasonable doubt that is applied that way, and then there's a standard for reasonable doubt that's applied to crimes crimes of a lesser nature.
According to what?
According to the way fucking the courtroom operates.
Nah, bro. Nah. No disrespect, but no. Reasonable doubt applies to verdicts, like period.
I think. I mean, if 22 years is on the line, or 24 years, or whatever,
24 years are not on the line. They're going to run like all the charges are going to be run concurrently. It's like a 7. It's like maybe it's like 5 or 7 years, right? They're going to be run concurrently.
All right. Well, okay. Either way. I mean, fair enough. I mean, they said he's facing 22. You said it's going to run.
That's what they say because they ended up like
okay. There's the practicality of what it's going to end up being, but. Either way, we're talking about a criminal case where somebody was shot at and some bullet fragments was in somebody's body that was caused from the shot. I think that's a case where the burden of reasonable doubt would all apply all the same. So like, what are you saying? Because I was halfway listening and I was looking up something. So he's probably going to get the maximum sentence for right, the statutory maximum sentence that they can give for possession of a unregistered firearm, right, which is likely to be somewhere in the realm of 5 to 7 years, right, somewhere in the realm of 5 to 7 years, right. Everything else. The other charge, he'll be the negligent discharge, right? Carries probably I'm going to say probably likely less time than the possession, right? So, or maybe even the same time, right? So 5 to 7, right? Does that mean he's going to serve 10 to 14? No, that means he's going to serve 5 to 7. All right, let's just be clear on something. It was guilty on all charges. Do you agree with that?
As far as I understand, as far as I've heard, yes.
So let me read
on all charges. What? Okay, let me look up these charges. I'm sure we understand exactly what the charges is. If you
can I read something? Can I read something real quick?
Go ahead and read something. Keep 100.
Yeah.
So beyond a reasonable doubt is the legal burden of proof required to affirm a conviction in a criminal case. So if it was a civil case, it'd be different. You talking about capital? Let me continue. In a criminal case, the prosecution bears the burden of proving that the defendant is guilty beyond all reasonable doubt. This means that the prosecution must convince the jury that there is no other reasonable explanation that can come from the evidence presented at trial. No other reasonable explanation. That's reasonable doubt. In other words, the jury must be virtually certain of the defendant's guilt in order to render a guilty verdict. This standard of proof is much higher than the civil standard called preponderance of the evidence. So what you're confusing is capital versus civil. Like in a civil case, you wouldn't need to be beyond a reasonable doubt, right? So I just wanted to correct that. I wanted the chat to hear that, so they don't walk away with this with misinformation. So it's a criminal case, right? That's all I.
And I'm saying yes, that's what it says, black and white on paper. It also says, right? We'll use a different reference, right? So capitalism, right? Then the use of capitalism for environmental purposes, right? And it says in that capitalism, by its very nature, right, on paper, it says by its very nature, to please its consumers, would never seek to harm the environment in which it operates, in which its consumers live. But we know that right, what it says on paper and how it's applied in reality, real life, are two completely different things.
Even
Agreed, but
that
we were
analogy
discussing
about capitalism is off. But I would argue because capitalism doesn't say you can't enslave people either. So no, the argument about capitalism is slightly off the way you're using it. We're talking about reasonable doubt as a concept. And then obviously the jury agreed that there was no reasonable doubt, but we are saying there is a preponderance of evidence that would give you at least a reasonable doubt. That is all we're arguing.
That's it. And yeah, you're doing a false.
The preponderance of evidence again. In less than capital cases, the preponderance of it. That's what makes capital cases, right? Okay. That's
no disrespect, sir. You're making that up. You're making up that standard. I'm not making up. I'm gonna have to stand on. I'm gonna have to stand on that. You are. You make that capital thing. You're making that up, bro. Find me a link that with what you're saying applies, and I'll fall back. I'll concede.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why capital cases and sexual assault cases. There are several reasons, but there's a predominant reason of why those cases are so hard to convict for most prosecutors in their discretion. They would rather have other cases. They get sensationalized, they get recognition for them, but they're very difficult to prosecute because of the burden of proof necessary to convince the jury to convict.
So you're kind of making our case.
You guys are speaking. Again, and I get it. You guys are speaking letter. You guys are speaking black and white, and I'm speaking practical application within a courtroom.
No, you're not.
I see where you're coming from.
Hold on, wait, time out. This is important. I had to look up the charges, make sure we was 100% clear on that. All right, Lanez had pleaded not guilty to assault with a semi-automatic firearm. He did not do that based off everything that came out of the trial. Assault with a semi-automatic firearm, that means you shot it at somebody with intent. He didn't do that. If the only person who saw him shoot can say he shot in the air. So that he didn't do that one. The other one is carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle. He technically didn't do that if it wasn't his gun that he was carrying it around.
Well, no. With that, they're going to say it's your car. They're going to say it's your car, and unless somebody steps up to own that gun, they're going to put it on you because it's your car. That's how that always goes.
Okay, so and it was his car that they left in.
Right. And that's how it goes. And it's likely the security guard's gun, but still, he's got to eat that because it's his car. Nobody else wants to step up.
Unless the security guard steps up and says it was mine. Right.
Right. Or
nobody denying possession. What we're talking.
All right. And the last one was in discharge of a firearm with gross negligence, according to prosecutors. So if firing in the air is discharge of firearm with gross negligence, that goes back to something that I said from the start. Well, once it came out that he shot in the air, I was like, all right, yep, that was stupid. He gonna get some time for shooting in the air. Right. Well, listen, the big one. I think the big one was the assault with a semi-automatic firearm. That's the charge that basically says he shot Meg in the foot.
Right.
And all the evidence shows he didn't do that. Now, if he got to take the smack on the wrist for the lesser shit, then yeah, it is what it is.
Here's the problem. Again, for gun laws, right? Specifically for places like California, New York, and others that have these more stringent gun laws, right? DC even had one for the period of time for a while, right? Where if you get caught with a loaded, unregistered firearm, it's an automatic 5 or 7 years. Bam. Just that's what happens, right? Statute those are the sentencing guidelines.
But see, that's not the issue. That is not the issue here.
You're talking the side of the point, bro.
Assault can range actually from anywhere from 3 to 10 years, depending on the severity of the act.
Fam, he should have beat the assault. He should have beat the assault.
Not only should he have beat the assault, right? The same. Hold on, but I think you're missing I think you're missing the entire point. Like, you're bringing up points that don't really, like, it's not the argument we're having. Because look, he can go down for his possession of the gun and the time it took for him to fire the weapon. So those are the 2 out of 3 charges. 2 out of 3 ain't bad for all the people who are against Tory. Those I agree with you. You got 2 out of the 3. The assault out of the window, that's just not on the table. Now, however, because the assault is off the table, something else has to be discussed now. The same evidence that you can use to say Tory possessed the gun is the same evidence that was presented in court against another person.
Right.
But this person doesn't get anything. This is the fucked up part of it. That's what's crazy here.
It's not her case, though.
Saying guilty on saying guilty on all charges, that's saying he's guilty of shooting Meg the Stallion,
right?
Yes,
which he didn't fucking do.
And what I like. Okay, the epilogue that I'm running to. So I'll get there real quick. The epilogue that I'm going to is he's guilty on these charges while he's serving his time. What he may even there may be no actually he'll probably be in there. But anyway, while he's serving his time, he's going to file an appeal. Right? He's right. He's going to follow the appeal, and likely he will take a plea agreement after the effect to remove the assault charge. But the others are going to remain, and he'll get out with time served after his appeal is all after he goes through his appeal, in which time he'll be deported to Canada.
That sounds about right. But I'm gonna just say this, man. There's a lot of the mental gymnastics being played here. That's all I'm gonna say, man. A whole lot of mental gymnastics, man. Go ahead, Charles.
I'm just looking at this, by the way. Good afternoon, and yeah, this case just shows you how much of a travesty of justice there truly is, because you're gonna give somebody who's obviously lying and obviously being fraudulent, you're going to give them immunity.
Right.
This was a modern day witch hunt and lynching if I didn't see one first. If you have no evidence of me touching this damn thing.
Well, they got an eyewitness. They got an eyewitness saying he saw the little man shoot it in the air.
No, an eyewitness is not physical evidence. That's a distinction.
I know, but at the same time, the reason I'm accepting that is because the eyewitness confirm a lot of shit, and confirm a lot of other shit that line up. That Kelsey and Meg was fighting, and Kelsey shot the gun first. So if we're gonna accept that part of the story, I think we got to accept that he shot it in the air.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
We could circle back and try to fight it on the technicality that his DNA wasn't on the gun or on the magazine or this or that or blah blah blah. But either
no, you don't have to, because generally speaking, when physical evidence contradicts eyewitness testimony, that's a fucking problem. So you don't have to accept it.
You're telling me.
Go ahead, officer.
You're telling me this, right? It's like domestic violence, right? If there's no signs of injury, no crime occurred. It's just like if you get into an accident. If there's no paint transfer, no accident occurred. So they really went hard on when they had an obvious check. And I know they GSR those bags. So she had that gun and shot it quite a few times. And you're telling me y'all gave her immunity when she's the person who brought the gun into the scene in the first place? Make that shit make sense. And for a jury to convict him of this shit, I would love to see how much nudging the prosecution gave them. Because this is actually a quick-ass trial. It's Christmas. Guilty.
That's actually a great point about who introduced the firearm into the vehicle.
Because first and foremost, you got to look into if you're going to go by a case, and you're going to look at the preponderance of evidence, correct? Who introduced the gun into the case? Because
that's actually a very good point.
Because now you got possession by Kelsey and alleged possession by Tory. But yet, if you have an eyewitness, we have a third crime of assault by Megan on the Kelsey.
Right. I said that.
And I'm like, wait a minute. None of these bitches get charged?
Nope.
God knows that I can't be. There's a reason why they won't let me be a fucking police chief or commissioner, because I'll be firing. I can be a mayor or a state's attorney. I would fire motherfuckers. I'm like, so what the fuck were you doing giving her immunity when she obviously had the gun? And whatever statement she made, and you promised her immunity, what did she say prior to you giving her immunity?
I plead the fourth.
I plead the 1/5. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this case with a fine-tooth comb. Where's the bodyguard? Doing a poor job of bodyguarding, I guess. Unless he's fucking Megan too, which probably is not that far-fetched. You're telling me we're in what? One of the ritziest places in America. There are no cameras. There are no doorbell cameras. There's nothing. And you see the gunshots. No, you get one witness to see him with the gun and not her with the gun. And I already know
that witness did say he saw her with the gun though.
And she's charged. And she's not charged. Why?
That's what I was saying earlier though, Faulkner. Like, all the evidence that they can use against Tory for the crimes that he's more likely guilty of is the same evidence that they can use against her. Gunshot residue, eyewitness testimony.
Because I'm not an expert in law enforcement or criminal justice, but if I got one, then obviously I have the other. Because there have been times I had to arrest everybody in the car. Whose weed is this? I don't know. Okay. We don't know. I don't know who it is, so we're charging every goddamn body. And you have the tangible evidence of her DNA on it. This is the reason why, I'm going to say this. This is the reason why black men should leave this fucking country, man. I'm sorry. I'm very patriotic in some things, but when you have bullshit like this, when there's obvious bias,
right?
When justice is supposed to be blind, and there's an obvious bias going on, and you're talking about this protect all women, but you got a whoring, violent drunk, a noted violent whoring drunk out there like she's some goddamn victim. How many times has she beaten up her boyfriends?
Right.
How many times put her hands on Kelsey?
On paper.
And I'm like, you have documentation, and everybody sweeping this shit under the rug. And I'm like this, you're not giving men any reason to stay here and participate in your system. Right. And you forget, the same men that won't participate are the same goddamn men that's holding the damn thing by Velcro glue and staples.
Right.
You're going to give this whole protect all women bullshit. You're going to cause men to stay the fuck away from women in this country. It's not worth the fucking juice. It's not worth the salt. I'm sorry. This is telling young men, you know what? Fuck believe all women. I just won't deal with them. I go overseas. You know what? Save my money up, passport, here we go. And now you have so many jobs, you can work online. All you need is a good damn Wi-Fi or a landline. Your money.
You know what I just...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You know what I just realized about you were saying men should leave women alone is something I kind of touched on earlier, but let's go back to this for a second. This is symbolic. Women have conquered hip-hop. That's it. Women have conquered hip-hop. It's over. You guys are going to have to come up with a whole nother thing now.
Well, I'm like this. I'm like, look, before you give her immunity, and I'm looking at this shit, and you already got her DNA swabbed or whatever, First and foremost, before I cut that fucking tape on and that video, bitch, you better tell me the goddamn truth because I'm gonna use this shit to the fullest extent of the law to charge your black ass. And I'm giving you this one and one time only to tell me the damn truth. Because now we gotta play. I don't, as a guy who's been an officer for almost 15 years, and soon to be hired by another department to be a sergeant lieutenant for them. I don't play with people's freedom and lives. I'm going to say that again for the niggas in the back. I don't like to play with niggas' freedoms and lives. I made it, and I'm one of the few people who made it a point. When somebody lied to me about domestic violence, I came back and charged their asses.
Well, Officer Faulkner.
I hate that.
Officer Faulkner.
Yes, sir.
Last week, I don't know what to call you because you're gonna be an officer, but you were an officer, but you're not an officer now, so I don't.
Hey, it's like a doctor. I earned my title.
Right. Last week, if I recall, weren't all of these women claiming that it was black men's fault for not stepping into a fight between two women in which some severe damage was the result in Mexico?
Right.
Of course. This is the reason why I would surmise black men to take a hands-off policy. If you see two chicks fighting, you should be indifferent to it. Remember that video? I forget it. I forget which video. I think it's I've been around. I don't know. It's been so long. Remember the video? They had the two chicks fighting, and the police show up, and they point at the guy.
Right. Yeah, I think I might.
That's basically what happened. We got fighting because Meg Thee Stallion got the super soldier serum and her big ass. Kelsey was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna cheat," and grabbed a gun. And you telling me she gets a ricochet, not a full round, not a full projectile, but a ricochet? Because I'm sorry, I don't see a person walking that well with a goddamn bullet in their foot.
I said the same thing. That was wild too. But like back to your point though about like watching them fight.
It took me out of football to catch one in the ankle. So
right, like listen, I know somebody got shot in the foot too. Like they don't want to walk around immediately after. Like that whole thing looked weird to me. But like still, bro, if she dies,
it was about 12 surgeries. Yeah.
Right, but listen, if she dies, she dies. Like, it's not your problem because then once you make it your problem, you become the problem. That's kind of the role you play as a black man.
I'm like, and you know what trips me out? Where's the ballistics for this shit? Because do you know if that was a hollow point, do you know the cavitation and damage it would do to her foot?
Right.
Because hollows actually expand. Think of it like a circular fan. Like, and I'm just like, where the fuck did they find this prosecution and all these experts? Fisher Price?
But somebody asked a good question. Whose prints was on the mag and on the bullets? Because somebody loaded the gun, right?
Somebody had to load it, yeah.
Right. So if there were no prints on the mag and no prints on the bullets, that means somebody loaded it with gloves on, or they wiped it down. You know how that goes.
Even if you wipe down stuff, you still have some part of DNA. You have skin follicles,
trace skin oils.
You have something. I mean,
well, you contaminate it, wiping it off, but it won't be yours.
Yeah, unless you bleach it. But at the same time, you're telling me there's so much from a criminal justice standpoint. There's so many reports that are missing. There's so much in the case that has more holes than I could drive a goddamn SUV through it. It just does not make logical sense.
Right.
And I'm sorry, it just fucks with my logical brain saying, where the hell does this compute? Where is the chronological story going? Because if you're saying an eyewitness, and we also have to be very leery of the eyewitness. Are you trying to get fame? Are you trying to get money? Are you trying to get things in order? What are you trying to do? And we have to be like, okay, did you see what you saw? Oh yeah, I seen him fighting and he shot the gun once in the air. Okay. Who had the gun prior? XYZ. Okay. We're gonna give that motherfucker immunity. So that means you wanted to get all you got out of it because you were gunning for one motherfucker.
Right. You wanted to be one way. Exactly. Thank you. You wanted to be one way.
And that's what you call bias. And justice is supposed to be blind.
Right.
So how, and I do mean how, do you get away with this without some sort of corruption through the prosecution? If you're trying to solve the case of who shot Mr. Ed, how?
Y'all gonna stop disrespecting this black queen this way. I can't take it no more. I can't take it.
Yeah. She's so much of a queen, we see her chariot.
I can't take it. This must end now.
And it's sad because you look at this case, people say, well, Tory Lanez is Canadian. So what? Do they say, you know what, let the Canadian nigga go and we gonna just charge the American one? No, they're gonna do the same to you. Remember, your skin is already an indictment to a lot of people in the criminal justice system. I hate to say it, but it is. You know, it's like that saying from Vito Corleone, women can be careless, children can be careless, men can't. I like to add a little bit more to it. Black men can't have a bad day. We can't even make a mistake.
Right.
If we drive left when we're supposed to go right, we're getting jailed. And I've told a lot, we don't have the age of adolescence like white boys. You know?
Well,
go ahead.
Somebody had brought up on the panel again. Somebody had brought up on the panel. I don't know what the guy's name is. Maybe it was actually it was 100. I think. I think you asked, what did he do wrong? Am I right? And then
no, that wasn't me that asked. That was conservative. But I said he made. This is what I said. I said he made some bad judgment calls. That's not the same as doing something wrong, right? Right. That's what I clarified. I didn't say. I didn't ask, or I didn't say.
I'm going to go further. I'm going to go further out on the branch. And what he did wrong was getting involved in the middle of a fight with two bitches, one with a firearm.
Well, I feel the wrong thing he did was leave the party and leave the white girl that was giving him vibes. That was his biggest mistake. You stay with the peaceful, loving titties that want you, and getting in the car with the drunk chick and her friend that is in your sexual history, like this prehistoric sexual prehistory. You let them go and you chill with in the comfort of the white bosom.
No, I get you. I get.
That's what he made his biggest
as he's in that vehicle. As he's in that vehicle now, right? Who knows what happens if he doesn't get involved, right? She shoots Megan. Maybe it's recognized as being something life-threatening, and she shoots everybody and herself, or whatever type of thinking, right? Because witnesses, right, or who knows what happens if he doesn't get involved. But we do know what happens if he does get involved, right? We know what happens now, right?
We know when that, yeah. That's why I asked. And J-Pay, he didn't get kicked out. She got asked to leave. He didn't get kicked out because he wasn't. Yeah, he didn't get kicked out. But I feel you on that. I mean, stop getting into situations, man. Again, this like we all been saying, man. This is textbook. Save yourself, man. He's trying to break up. He break it up. Even in court, he's trying not to directly accuse anybody of anything while trying to get himself out of these charges. While Shorty is trying to destroy him.
I don't think this is his fault. Again, I'm not going to be. I don't think this is his fault. I think he was put. I think by his choice, and this is the main thing that I want to get out there, right? And it's alluding to what Keeper 100 said just right now, right? The choices leading up to him being in the car with him, right? like you make decisions, right? And every choice that you make, there's a branch of possibilities of things to happen with things.
Right.
And in this situation, what else was he really supposed to do? I was, being a little flip earlier, but what is because of what happened? But if you don't do that, right? I would rather you talk shit about me for not getting involved in stopping something than bring charges against me for bringing for being involved in trying to stop something.
Check this out, bro.
All right. Check
this out.
Hold on, real quick.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Keep 100.
I was just gonna make it short. There's a whole bodyguard there that's being paid to do that.
Yeah, he's supposed to be belly to back suplexing them chicks and just and calling it a day.
Right.
I agree. I agree with that. I was quiet for a while. I was looking up them charges, and man, based off what I looked up, the main one, the assault with a hold on, I mean, what did it say? Assault with a semi-automatic firearm. That was the one that carried the long sentence. Is that carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle? The most with that one was 3 years, but it was like 18 months mandatory minimum. And the discharge of the gross negligent discharge of a firearm, that one was, I think that one was 3 years max 2 or something. Damn it, I forgot that fast what I just looked up.
Oh, they do.
Those were the smaller ones that you could definitely make a case that he did based off all the stuff that came out in the trial. The big one that they got him for is that assault with a semi-automatic firearm. That's the one. Like, put it like this: if they would have charged him with just carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle or in gross negligence, discharge of a firearm with gross negligence. If they would have just charged him with that, I guess it would be gross negligence to shooting in the air, I guess. So if they would have charged him with that, but said he's innocent when it comes, or not guilty when it comes to assault with semi-automatic firearm, that would have been basically saying, yeah, we charged him with something, but Meg, you full of shit. They didn't want to do that. The fact that that was the obvious one. That was the one where I could have say, okay, he paying the dummy tax, or the as hood conservatives call it, the good nigga tax for jumping in trying to break up some shit between some women. He paying the good nigga tax, and so he would have been doing either 2 years to 18 months or something like that. I came in accepting once it started looking clear that okay, an eyewitness said they saw the little man shooting the air. I was already just writing it off. Yeah, he gonna do about 2 years. He gonna do about 2 years. But nah, they threw the book at him. They threw the book at him. As far as
when they tell you with these charges, they always stack them consecutively, even though better than 95% of the time, sentencing is always concurrent, right?
Meaning
if you got found guilty of 4 charges, one was 7 years, one was 9 years, one was 12 years, one was 10 years, right? You'll do 10 years. You'll do the 12-year sentence.
I think we get that. But what we're saying is he shouldn't have got one of those charges. He would have got those other 2 because it was only 3. He would have got those
to the epilogue. That's what I'm saying. To the epilogue is he's going to go through and he's going to file his appeal. This will come up when nobody cares about it anymore, and he'll probably sign off a plea on the negligent discharge, which will remove, and he's his life is going to go on.
And my man said, protect black women, go to jail. Long Ton, son. Tory going to jail for protecting black women. See, fellas, you lose.
All right, let me get to my super chat. Shout out to everybody who's supporting the stream. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Sorry I didn't get to the super chats. Conversation got interesting. I didn't want to disrupt the floor, but I'm trying to get to all of them right now. Shout out to Son is Hot Roy says her peers might blackball her. I didn't think so at first, but I kind of think so now. Well, then again, I don't know. That whole Jay-Z Rock Nation aspect of it. If they was, protecting her and doing shit behind the scenes like the dad implied, then she'd probably still be out there. But I don't know. It may be some blackballing. We'll see with that one. But the industry won't. If anything, it will prop her. I think, it will prop her up, making her the face of feminism and to also rub it in black men's face. Ruckus Buck in the building says Tory Lanez would have been better off staying at the party with, yeah, we talked about that, staying at the party with Kylie. He's probably kicking himself right now. Jackie Jack says they wouldn't have a case without Meg's testimony. She's responded to when Deanie was saying that Meg didn't bring the charges on Tory. That was goofy as hell. But Creation Muse in the building says when they pick jurors, they have to pick those that are not familiar with the persons. That's very difficult in this case. Is that even possible nowadays? No. Authentic Perspective says show looks great, Bernard. Thank you very much for that. He says, I understand the thinking of bro in the glasses. Those kids are trying to overcome a stupid night. They all wish they could pleaded the fifth. Then you say it's Gab. I don't know what that means.
Maybe it's Cap. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, they are trying to overcome a dumbass night, but see, all that. Oh, they drunk and those, them just some kids, or they just on some nigga shit, or they just all of that goes out the window when it's looking clear and obvious that one person told an intentional, deliberate lie on another. It's like
many lies.
Yeah, I mean, the one big one is he shot me.
He shot me. The way he shot me, what his relationship to me was when he shot me. like those are all contextual, right? Those are all
right. Gotta agree.
Yeah. Christian Hutchinson in the building says, I don't have to worry about my wife trying to jump on me. I'm just saying she knows she would have no chance. Yeah. If I'm 5'3" and 105 pounds, I ain't messing with no 5'11", no 5'11" thick chick. No, it ain't happening. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Kenneth Williams in the building says, for the content, thank you very much for that. Do appreciate it. Jockey's Retro in the building says, both the system and Megan did him wrong. I think he's still referring to Deanie, but no doubt. Yeah, I ain't taking no heat off of Meg because the system play definitely got their part in it, but Meg accusing him put him in the hot seat, and it took the hot seat off of Kelsey to the point to where she can damn near look at she could damn near look in the camera and say she did it. I mean, it's like that's how the whole trial felt. That's how the whole trial felt. Roddy God podcast in the building. He says, but Judge, Meg and Kelsey also shot off. What do you mean by shot off?
I don't know about Meg. I didn't hear anything about
Meg. I didn't hear nothing about
Kelsey,
Meg firing a shot.
But I could see if he's visualing, right? If what Rod of God is visualing is Kelsey pulling out a weapon and Meg and Kelsey getting into a struggle, a la what you see on movies, TV shows all the fucking time, and they're wrestling with it. And the first discharge happens because of that, and that's what puts the ricochet in her foot, or the splinters in her foot. I could see the logic forming to go along with that.
Yeah. But Rebels in the building, Rebels 1804 says this is why athletes don't party with. I think you mean black women,
black chicks.
Oh, black chick. Yeah, I should have caught that. Good use of emojis. Joe's in the building. He says the woo tax. Shout out to you. Freeman's Journal in the building says turn the rap game into the NBA draft. Choose the safe option. Hashtag Becky. Christian Hutchinson. Actually, no, that's the NFL draft that be that'd be heavy with the white women all day. That was an NFL draft where it seemed like everybody that got drafted in the first round had a white girl next to him. But Christian Hutchinson in the building says, does Tory get a prison jumpsuit from Kids R Us? Man, cut it out.
No, he just has to do a lot of rolling.
A lot of what?
A lot of rolling. Pant legs, sleeves.
Oh, y'all ain't shit. He says Becky over Dangerous B Dubs, SYSBM for the win. Shout out Freedman's Journal again. He says, "Where are the pro blacks? A black man needs them." I said that I did a video talking about how they would look at it all differently if Meg and Kelsey were some white girls. It would be every black person would be in unison, calling it out, saying these white bitches lying on this black man. I mean, even black women.
I don't know. That what they get for fucking with them white girls.
Well, true. That it would be that aspect of it. But even damn, yeah, you got a point. Even even it would be a good percentage that would be saying that's what he get. But then it would be another percentage that will basically be calling out that the fact that they did some ill shit, some shit went down between them, police showed up, they just blamed the nearest black man. So that every black person would, regardless of whether they saying, see, that's what he get, or rather every black person would analyze what happened properly, put it like that. Male and female, everybody would be able to analyze it properly. But shout out to Freedman's Journal. Damn, we called her Greg the Stallion, man. He called her Greg the Stallion.
Wow.
I call it, man. All right.
Is that the last one?
I believe that's the last one. Y'all can give some closing thoughts before we get out of here.
I just want to, because I'm gonna jump off first, man. I just noticed that, you know, when black dudes are in situations with white women accusing them of this and that, you know, black women like to, or supporters of black women, simps, like to play as though only white women, you know, will accuse or bring this type of stuff against us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's exclusive. Like, if you go and you swirl and you chill with them, these are the types of things that, you know, would not happen to you if you deal with us. If you mess with us, we would never, ever accuse you, lie on you, get you for your money, set you up, all this other nonsense that, let me tell you, bro, like, from all sides, man. You hear it, he's cracking up. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, like, there's this cap that, oh, if you do that, then this will happen to you and over, you're safe here. When the sad thing is is like the opposite is true, especially when it comes to violence. When it comes to violence, and I'm not saying you're safe anywhere, just the likelihood is lower. The likelihood goes down. I don't just mean white girls in particular. I just mean non-black women. When you do the non-black women thing, the likelihood of you ending up in these what your man characterizes as nigga issues, right? The likelihood of your nigga issues goes down tremendously, right? So yeah, if you're gonna say that, then say that. But yeah.
And I think I said I did say that at the end of the video. If you know what they're not realizing, the people who, you know, got the tiki torches and pitchforks out for Tory over a woman lying on him, but because she's black, they don't realize that they are taking on and I hate to even go here, I normally don't talk like this, but they taking on the role of the mob from back in the day, and you know, in you know, Jim Crow area, when a black man lied on, and then everybody pull up with tiki torches. They don't realize that, you know,
right.
That's what I was trying to go with when I was trying to say that. Imagine if they're white. Imagine if these women were white. Y'all would see that y'all are basically taking the lying words of some women that was doing some bullshit, and now they don't want to look bad, so they throwing it on the black man. It's like y'all are taking that.
Yeah. I'm gonna end it with this because there's a lot of other points I can make, but I know Charles and my man. What's my man name?
Judge Zilla.
Right.
Asshole with a big mouth.
I know a lot of the points that I would make is going to be covered. So, you know, rather me go into those and make this stream longer than it needs to be, I'll just say, I've said it numerous times on Facebook and YouTube. If these black women that we have today were around during Emmett Till, you understand what I'm saying? They would have said Emmett Till deserved it because, you know, he whistled at a white woman. They would have believed that white woman. Okay. And we wouldn't have the civil rights era.
Yeah,
so
Only difference is I don't think they would have believed it. I don't think they would have believed it, but they would have said that's what he get. So you spot on with that.
But that's what he get implies that he did it. That he whistled.
Rather he did it or not is irrelevant. It's just the fact that he was messing with her and not them. That's what you get. They don't care whether he did it.
Okay, but we kind of said the same. But I got
just a slight difference. No need to debate on it.
But I already know Charles is gonna go in. I know my man is gonna go in. So rather than me going to the innocence, the guilt, and what charges and all this other stuff, I'm gonna let them cover that, man. And thanks for having me up on here.
Yep, no doubt. Thanks for coming up. Go ahead, Judge. You got it.
No doubt.
Okay. I'll be real short and sweet here. It's a damn shame what happened to him. It's a damn shame the results of it. I don't know what this means for his future after a few years. But again, this is the result of doing what they want you to do. Again, I want to point this out. Last week, because of what happened with some ratchet bitches in Mexico, black men were responsible for not saving a black woman's wife from another black woman. A man, by at least 2 accounts, did that, and the women, at least one of them, if not one, both of them, turned upon him and led to him being tried, convicted, incarcerated, and soon to be incarcerated and soon to be deported. If this is not an example of record for you going forward from this point, what else will there need to be? And I'm done.
All right, Officer Faulkner, you got the floor. You got the mic for the last words. Go ahead.
Black men, protect yourself at all times. Keep your head low, your ass low, and your head lower. This is a travesty of justice, if you call it that. I don't blame you if you leave. I don't blame you if you don't participate. Black men, you're damned if you do, and you're certainly damned if you don't. I'm going to say this, and this might hurt a few people. Black women don't know you shit. That's right. They don't know you shit. They don't know you submission. They don't know you anything. They don't know you loyalty, anything. They don't know you shit. But juxtapose that same statement, black men, you don't owe black women a damn thing. You don't owe them shit. You don't owe them protection, provision, problem solving. Let them get it on their own. They're strong and independent. Let them push that little button on their chest so they can get stronger. Stop being around people who are not assets. A lot of the women, and I'm guilty of it, especially in my younger days, we cannot trust a big butt and a smile and not think it's detrimental to our health, to our careers. Got to start thinking with the big head and not the little one, man. A lot of this shit would have been avoided if he would have said, "Bye, bitch." I'm staying with Kylie. A lot of shit will be avoided if men start using their superpower called foresight. A lot of this shit would have been avoided if you stay away from trouble, drinking, violent bitches, and have the audacity to lie. If you ever even think about being interested in a woman, I'm going to give you some real tips. She got to prove it to you. Make her go through the gymnastics of proving her loyalty. Because guess what? When we always seen it. When shit comes to order, they will throw you out and sell you out. Once again, protect yourself at all times. Woo!
All right, good stuff. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get the hell up out of here. If you didn't see it, go check out my last pre-record where I was breaking down my little thoughts and perspective on what if Meg Thee Stallion and Kelsey was white, how would black people look at and analyze this. If you if you ain't got nothing better to do, go and check that one out. I'm trying to see if I got trying to check my cash app, see if anybody sent the cash app. If you did, I do appreciate that. I always forget to do the cash apps during the show, but shout out to everybody. Do appreciate all of y'all. All right, nobody sent the cash app. I went heavy on the super chats though. I do appreciate that. And y'all check out check out my latest pre-record. There it go right there. Check that bad boy out. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.